Hello, 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 good evening, morning, noon, or night, and welcome to the r/am I the arsehole stream. Hi guys, how are you? Hello, hello. How you been? How you been? I hope you've all been glorious. And of course, welcome. I hope you've all had lovely Thursdays. But yes, so, oh yeah, Astor, I like popped over to like a slightly different medieval mix to, you know, spruce it up. Yeah, you like the new background? I was fiddling around in shoes and I'm like, this is the fucking vibe, man. Get that spruce wood. But yes, hi Asta, hi Nova, hi Shara, hi Brittle. Hi guys, and of course, welcome, welcome. I hope you get nice and comfortable, for tonight, it is an r/am I the arsehole night, where we will be joining together to enjoy that sweet, sweet hot tea. Perfect. We're chilling in the forest and going, oh my god, you're not going to believe what happened. Hi Ziley, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Fuck yes. Oh my god. Speaking of like OC stuff, those who follow me on X. Yeah, I hate calling it X. Those who follow me on Twitter. Let me be old and stubborn in my ways, okay? Those who see me over on the dead bird, may have noticed, or may not, I'm totally fair, that I've actually been posting sketches recently, and of just like random characters, and to be fair, Silent, X sounds wrong. X sounds like I'm talking about my, the romantic soirees of my youth, you know, like. Oh my god. But yeah, so like, I have, at work, I've been sketching my sketchbook, and I've started doing the 100 expressions challenge again. So that's why, like, all of a sudden I'm posting sketches. It's literally like it's just like whatever the expression is, just like, inspire me face. So, you know, if you were looking for context, that was the context behind it. And that's also why there's like a weird little emoji in the corner of each of them. But yeah, so I'm a 10th in now. And the reason I'm doing it is mostly, I mean, okay, 70% is I get bored at work. That's the big chunk. But like the other 30% is defeating some art block, honestly. Yeah, I see, yeah, they changed it to x.com, and I'm like, just, yeah. Nasty. Hi Ian Ra123, thank you for the follow, I appreciate it, thank you, and welcome. Yeah, they have silent, yeah. Like, Twitter still redirects to it, but it's like, but that's the thing, Char, like, if you typed in X, it would automatically go to Twitter, but now Twitter's going to X. Like, if you open it up, like, x.com is like up there, it just feels wrong. Like, it just, to be completely honest, it feels like a mistyped adult website. I just, why? Oh my god, I will never understand. Like, honestly, Twitter turning to X has probably been has probably been one of the big major things in my life that's made me relate to my parents more than anything else, because now I completely understand why they hate it when shit changes when it doesn't have to. Remember all of those rants our families, like our parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles ever went into around us about like senseless changes of things that were just fine, like the way they were, and you would, you'd just be like, the fuck you on about, boomer? Calm down, it's fine, change is normal. Twitter going to X has made me suddenly look at them in a whole new light. You know what? I'm sorry, Mum. I'm sorry, Dad. I'm sorry, Granny. I'm sorry, Grandpa. You're fucking right. It is annoying when shit changes when it doesn't have to. you just go to your parents out of nowhere, and it's just like, I'm sorry, I doubted you. Your wisdom. Your wisdom predicted this. No, it's always going to be Twitter in my heart, because X just feels weird to say. Hi, girl. How are you? Welcome, welcome. I hope you're doing good. Oh, no, Esther. Oh, no. But yeah, like, legit. Every time I see it, just like the grandpa at the edge of my brain starts shouting at clouds, you know? Oh my god. I know, right, Britt? I have no idea. Like, why? And it's like, I like, when I say I, quote unquote, did some research, what that really means is I watched a video on YouTube where someone else did some research. So, like, take my word as a moldy can of milk. But, according to that video that I watched of somebody doing research into it, because I was too lazy to do it myself, apparently, like, they went through the history of it, and apparently, according to that one, Elon Musk has been trying to change shit into X for like 2 decades. Like, apparently he tried to make PayPal X.com, and they told him to fuck off. And he's tried to make several other companies into X or X.com, and they've told him to fuck off. And like, Twitter was just the one that finally cracked. And so it's like, I like, yeah, like SpaceX, XCOM, he tried to make PayPal X, and they literally just said no. So they were just like, no. Yeah, legit, sorry, yeah. And it's just like, it's one of those like dumb decisions that like has way more history than it should. Like, changing from Twitter to X just feels like the whims of a mad billionaire. But, like, the fact it has a history, the fact that he has been trying to change shit to X for, like, 25 odd years. Why? Let's open our new social media account. It's called y.com. Because why? I mean, it's like, we all have our hyper-focuses, we all have our obsessions. But why? Yes, the old Corey account. I never killed it. I think I just, like, logged out of it, like, a year ago. I ended up, like, I didn't kill it just in case, like, there'd be that stray person who for some reason wanted to like look up my old Corey account, wondered where the fuck it went, and literally it is now used as a signpost. That old Corey account, its entire purpose is to point you in the right direction. I believe my first ever skib that I got commissioned is on that account, actually. Oh god, Shara. Probably. You're welcome to follow it. I don't really intend to take it down. But you'll probably never see it be active like ever again. Oh my god. Oh no, Shara. I don't think I did. I know about Keyboard Smash, but like, what's the new one? What's the new one? Oh my god. I will never understand celebrity naming. Like, you know, hats off, name your kid whatever you want, but like, is bus stop necessary? There's a fine line between beautiful name and easy target. And if you name your kid Dick Lord 9000, he's gonna get bullied. It's kind of in the name. Yeah, I don't think I'll understand, but oh my god, because it's like, I do know about like that kid who's like a keyboard smash, and I don't know, it meant like Alvin or something, and like, yeah, like celebrity names, white people names. I don't get it. Why? Can't find it. I mean, honestly, Shara, that says more about the name than you, because it requires you. Just name them Mark. Mark is fine. You want to be special? Spice it up. M-A-R-C. That's also Mark. That's like short for Marcus. That's nice. You don't gotta have like a basic bitch name, but like, yeah. You also don't need to be Lord Spandangulus the 40 feet. I mean, obviously, I talk with like complete taste and bias, but like, yeah, yeah, doing your weebs in the early 2000s, yeah, Saurus Drive or some shit, exactly. Am I ever going to bring back the bubbles? Probably not. It'd be one of those things that, like, if I had enough different people like demanding it, then I'd consider it. But like, I would need some convincing. Yeah, that's the one that looks like a spaceship name. Don't have a clue how it's pronounced. Hi, Articus. Welcome. And if you're good, I promise to do my best. Welcome. Oh my god. Oh god. Could you imagine being the teacher reading out those names? It's just like, you're just there like, right. Billy, here. Bronwyn, here. Wendigo, here. Jet. J 12? It's Martin. What the fuck? Alex. That's not how you spell it. Bro, at that point, just use hieroglyphics. Like, just use hieroglyphics. Just go, fuck it. Draw a picture. Toss off. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, just use wingdings at that point. Oh my god, that's true. Yeah, just teachers like, yeah, here. But I didn't even. It's all right. I knew it was me. When I grow up, I'm going to change my name to John. Exactly 12. Oh my god. Zachary, that's what it's like, I look at it and it's just like, Shade 12. No. Honestly, gun to my head, if I had to pronounce any of the names that Moss gives his kids, I would die. Just straight up. Not a chance in hell. Immediate loss. Any guess I make will in fact definitely be wrong. Like, no chance in hell. No shot. It's like Zachary if you're blind drunk, perhaps. Hi Nix, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Ooh, new glasses. Ooh, what kind did you get? Did you get like the big like circle ones, horned rims, the hexagons? Hi, how you doing? How you doing? Welcome, welcome. I mean, yeah, true, exactly, sure. That's like, I love the idea of gender neutral names. I think they're amazing and they're useful. Oh my god. It's like, I can say one thing for absolute certain though, is that once upon a time, I judged that one celebrity for naming her kid Apple. Now, Apple's not that bad. I'm sorry, Apple. There in fact could be worse. I will eat my words. Yeah, there's some celebrity kid named Apple. But you know what? Compared to some of the shit coming out nowadays, Apple's great. Hi, sir. How are you? Welcome. Oh my god. Ooh, that sounds really nice, Nick. I bet you look brilliant in them. Gore on top of feet and barrels. Just saying, as the mental picture my mind generates from those three categories combining is terrible. Must the ends truly meet? Now you are. That's brilliant. Hi, Rita. How are you? Welcome. Yeah, North is interesting. It's like North is like, it's quirky. Definitely probably get quite a few Compass jokes, but like, it's not the worst thing on the planet. It would just be really funny if your first kid was named North, your second kid was named East, your third kid was named South, and your fourth kid was named West. Always remember, kid, never eat soggy wheat bix, northeast, southwest. But yes. Gotcha. But yes, so tonight we are going to enjoy wondrous tasty tales from the deep dark pit that is Reddit. The realm where those permanently online and the normie variety subside. And now us, a gaggle of glorious weebs, shall enjoy these tales and sip from our peanut gallery. Have fun lurking, dear eyes. Mwah. Oh my god, Asta. It really does, doesn't it? Hi, Mystic. How are you? Welcome. I hope you're doing wonderfully today. Oh, thank you for the flower crown. Oh my god, the blue one actually matches the environment. I'm blue, dabba dee dabba die, dabba dee dabba die. Oh my god. Yeah, uno, dos, and cuatro. Your uncle is amazing. Damn, I should have named. It's like, there was always a tiny part of me that wanted, if I ever got a cat and a dog, there was the goblin in my soul. Thank you for the rose, dear Mystic. The goblin in my soul wanted to name the cat dog and the dog cat. And then I can say, meet cat dog. Cat dog, cat dog. If you get that specific 2000s reference, I'm sorry, you're old. Anyway, the dog disappeared without a trace. Oh, that was terrible. I love it. I love it. Hi, Mythius. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Oh my god. Alright, first I'll have a sip of my coffee. I have coffee and breakfast tonight. Alrighty. Let us begin the first tale. Am I the asshole for telling my dad there will be no making up for missing my high school graduation? I'm 18 male, graduating high school at the end of this month. My dad dropped the bomb on me 2 nights ago that his stepdaughter, 14 female, has an award ceremony for some competition she entered and won in another state on that same day, and that she really wants him to be there. He told me he couldn't possibly make it to both, and since his wife and their children together will be going, he needs to be there too. He told me he would make it up to me and we could celebrate another time. I still live with him, not for much longer. My mum died when I was 7 and my dad got married again when I was 11 or 12. It's been a few years anyway. His stepdaughter never knew her by her dad, so my dad has accepted her as his own, and he has prioritized her a lot in the last 5 to 6 years. It doesn't always show in the most obvious ways, but it can be felt. Father-son time was put on an indefinite hiatus, and instead Dad told me we needed to include her in our time together, but he also spent time with just her for father-daughter time. I brought it up to my dad and he told me I wasn't exactly making an effort to be closer to her, so he wanted us all to bond and didn't want me to just focus on my relationship with him. He's attended her dance things instead of my basketball games if they're on at the same time. It doesn't matter if mine was known about first, he will still skip my stuff to go to hers. He will take us on family days, and whenever he and his wife say kids can choose, he picks her choice over mine. He claims it's because they will be the most fun for everyone, but really, he even says it afterwards, anything his little princess wants. Our refrigerator and our shower broke at the same time. His stepdaughter's birthday was coming up, so he took money from my birthday fund to pay for that stuff. So his stepdaughter would definitely get what she wanted. This Barbie house thing and a whole fashion set, and they were, I think Dad said, $250. He didn't get all the money back by the time my birthday came around. So instead he bought me a $30 Steam gift card, which when he had promised me a new monitor and a keyboard for my computer. That was a gift from my grandparents. When my dad told me he wouldn't be at my graduation to go and support her, I told him there is no making up for that and he can forget about being included in my life going forward. He told me he'd make it up to me and I told him I will always come second to his little princess and I'm not going to be okay with that. I told him he's discarded me for the last time. Dad begged me to be reasonable, but I walked away. Then I invited both sets of grandparents who agreed to come. His wife told me I could have come with them and I don't need to attend the ceremony but could support my sister. I said her daughter's not my sister and I do not want to support their family anymore and I'll be out of their hair soon. She called me selfish and told me I can't deny her daughter a dad. So tell me, am I the asshole? No. Oh, no. Like, this is definitely one of those... Yeah, this is blatant. Oh, God. I gotta feel bad for him, but yeah, absolutely not the arsehole. Absolutely not the arsehole. Gosh. I do hope that one day things sort out and he's at least cordial with them, but yeah, I absolutely fully expect that, like, he's gonna shift out and just... He's probably gonna stay in contact, because, like, most teenagers scream, I'll never talk to you again, and then in 2 weeks they do, but that doesn't mean it's gonna be warm and fuzzy. Teenagers may not commit to the same degree in adulthood, but they still commit. Like, they still people with feelings. It's very likely that, like, if that dad truly does not go to that ceremony, it's going to hold over his head for the rest of his life. Oh yeah, Nova, you're in love. Ooh. Hi, Digga. Alrighty, on to the next tale. Am I the arsehole for spending my son's university fund on a trip to Europe to drink beer like I always threatened, instead of giving it to his stepbrother after he passed away? My son was smart, Smarter than me. I almost requested a paternity test because he was so damn intelligent. That is a joke. My ex and I divorced when he was about 12. She remarried when he was 14, and I did when he was 16. I had an RESP set up for him. That's an education fund in Canada. As long as he went for post-secondary education, he could use the money for anything. I always told him that I was okay with him not going to university. That way I can use the money I'd saved up for him to go to Belgium and buy some beer for mugs that only allow you to buy one case. He knew I was joking and he always played along, and he wouldn't let me get his goat. When he got accepted to McGill, it was the proudest moment of my life. I took him out for beer to celebrate his achievement and mourn the loss of my trip to Europe. My son was struck and killed by a drunk driver in March. I'm dealing with it. My ex is dealing with it. And my wife has been nothing but my rock in this. She's holding me up. I was dealing with the funeral arrangements and everything when my ex came to talk to me about his money. She knew he had a scholarship and was just going to use the money for living expense and an emergency fund. She asked me what I was going to do with it. I said I was always going to do what I said I would. I was going to Europe to drink beer. She asked if she could have it for her stepson. I thought about it and said no. Her husband is a decent enough person, but he made it clear that he wasn't responsible for any expense for my son, beyond food and shelter and stuff obviously. Like I said, he's decent. And I said I was not going to do that. I was going to go drink beer in my son's honor. She says I'm wasting thousands of dollars, and I guess I am. I have to give back the government portion of the fund, but I don't care. My ex thinks I'm being stupid and irresponsible wasting my son's money like this. But I don't care. And I know my son would laugh his ass off if he knew I actually did it. So I've got to ask, am I the arsehole here? Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's his money. Like, an absolutely tragic scenario, but at the end of the day, it's his money, and he's welcome to do with it what he will, and ultimately, it seems like what he intends to do is essentially kind of honor an age-old joke with his kid. And, you know what? I think it's sweet. I think it's sweet. And for the ex-wife, so the boy's mum, to come to him after all of this and ask for money for her stepkid is really rude. It's really, really fucking rude. It's like, it would be a completely different scenario if they had another kid together. Then of course it would just go on to the other kid, or split around. But like, it's not even the wife's kid with the husband, it's the wife's stepson, which essentially means that this child is not related to his son in any way, is the ex-wife's husband's child. And the ex-wife's husband had made it clear that he wasn't really willing to spend money beyond bare necessities on his son. So it's like, he has absolutely no obligation whatsoever. She's welcome to spend any money she had saved up for her kid on the stepson. That's her money, that's her prerogative. But like, at the end of the day, this is his money, and sure, maybe he is wasting it in the grand scheme of things, but at the end of the day, he has the right to. And like, it is incredibly entitled, and really, it's kind of scummy to go up to someone organising a funeral to ask for money for someone who's got nothing to do with it. I think that's really rude, personally. So yeah, absolutely not the arsehole. I do genuinely hope he goes to Europe to drink beer in honour of his son. Because not only is that a fuck you, but also it's a... I think, considering the context, it's sweet in its own way. It's eccentric, but it's sweet. And yeah, let him do it. Let him grieve, basically. Yeah, you don't go to someone grieving to ask for money. No, that is incredibly rude. And even if you are grieving yourself, that's no excuse. Just, oh. But I hope he gets that monk beer, and yeah. On to the next one. Am I the arsehole for making my parents replace my toys they decided to give away? I'm moving to another city for work. Since I'm an adult and not a college kid anymore, I hired movers. My parents insisted on coming down to help me pack. I live in their basement suite. It was cheap and they let me have my privacy. They brought my brother and my nephew. The four of them were as helpful as a bag of used horse condoms, especially my nephew. My parents decided to keep him busy by giving him one of my Lego sets to play with. I collect them. What I usually do is buy two of the same one, I build one, put it up for display, and then leave the other one in the box to trade or sell. He took it upstairs to stay out of the way when he took it home. All I noticed was he was out from underfoot. The next day, I saw the box on the garbage. I didn't assume. I knew the answer already, but I didn't assume. I went upstairs to talk to them. I asked where the Lego box came from. They said they gave it to Travis to keep him busy. I told them that they needed to replace it. They said I was being childish for caring so much about a toy. I said they could replace it, or I'd file an insurance claim, and that would probably require a police report. My dad got angry. He pulled out $70 and told me I was an arsehole for making a fuss over a toy. I asked him if that was a down payment. He said that was what he spent on the last Lego gift he got me for Christmas, and that's what those helmets cost. I showed him the box. I told him to keep his money. He just had to get me a sealed box like the one he stole. He said he didn't steal anything. He took the box and went to the Lego store nearby. When he came back, he was apologetic. He said he would get it back from my nephew. I said I wanted a sealed box with the TIE Fighter helmet. I even went on eBay to help him find one cheaper than he had found by himself at the collectibles store. The guy at the Lego store sent him to. With shipping, it would only be $300. He ordered it. He isn't happy about it. My mum is upset that I'm expecting that much money for a toy. My dad's upset that I didn't explain before he went and made a fool out of himself at the store. And I'm upset that he stole from me. Am I the arsehole? Hi Ghosty, thank you for the care package, and I'm glad you took your meds. Yeah. Peak entitlement. Peak entitled parents, but also, haha, because bro basically told them where to stick it and made them replace it. Because yeah, that is stealing. Like, just because you pop a child out doesn't mean you have a right to anything they own. Like, you can have a friend, you can have a child, you can have a parent, a family member, doesn't matter who. It does not matter how you see their stuff. Like, it does not matter if you see their collectibles and you see there's a bunch of trinkets and toys. It doesn't fucking matter if you know their worth or not. You don't touch it. You don't fuck with it without permission. Because, as anyone who has ever dabbled in collectibles of any kind before, they're worth a lot more than you think. And it's like, I know that, like, I would be cheesed as hell. Thank you so much for the sub, Tig. I appreciate you. Mwah. But like, legit, like, I would be absolutely cheesed if like someone opened my little display cabinet of my weeby shit, my bats, and fucked around with it. I would be absolutely cheesed. Like, yeah, I don't exactly have any $500 figurines sitting in there, but I have like one or two that weren't cheap. Like, I'm not like an avid figurine collector, aka I got into it for a little bit, then realised it was obnoxiously expensive, and then just went back to blind boxes. But like, I would still be really pissed, and it would be so easy to just look in there, it's like, oh, that's a cabinet full of dolls. And it's like, that's a cabinet full of like figures and stuff. Fuck off. Like, yeah, there's a sentimental value as well. Like, I would lose my shit if someone came and fucked with me little bat figures. It's a dumb thing. I like to collect them. They're these little Yoki Pop Mart bats. And yeah, they're like 15 to 20 bucks each. They're not exactly like the most expensive thing on the planet, but like, I like me dumb little bats. They're cute. And so I have many dumb little bats. And like... I would be really pissed if I came home and found out someone had fucked with me bats. And it's like, I haven't collected all the bats. But I want to. I can't show you any pictures right now just because my phone controls my tracking. But if you look up the Yoki, so Y-O-K-I, Pop Mart bat, you'll find lots of them. And like I love these bats. I love them to bits. I'm missing the Christmas set and a whole lot of the I think it's called the Guiding Moments set, which is the most recent one. But it's like I've collected oh yes, I'm also missing the Black Hole bat from the Space set. I really want that one. But I also know that it cost me like $60 because it's the rare one. Like, you can just go onto like AliExpress and just buy it outright. But it's still like $60. Yeah, at the moment, yeah, that's the most recent one. I think I've got like a couple, but I don't have a lot from that collection. Just because like around the time it was coming out, I was POV. And then like time passed and then it went away and now you can only really find it on like AliExpress and stuff. So like when I've got like the money that like absolutely, because like right now I'm saving for surgery up at the end of the year. So like I have to be good with my money right now, which sucks. But like once that's done, I'll have disposable income. What the fuck? And I'll be able to get some bass. I mean, the Christmas collection's very, very cute. But yes, so yeah, like I would be absolutely mad pissed if someone fucked with me bats. Or like my D&D books, or any of my art supplies. Like, I think probably the best, I guess, comparison would definitely be my art supplies, because like that's kind of the spot, which would be like for someone who was not an artist and is not familiar with, quality of art supplies, etc. It's quite easy to look at me tin of Prismacolors and go, tin-a-colory pencils, wheat woo, and I'm like, get your fucking mitts off me Prismacolors. Like, I use them sparingly because like I am a hoarder. Like, honestly, at this point, I think I really need to get off my arse and do like traditional art YouTube videos or some shit, just so I use my art supplies, because I keep hoarding that shit like a dragon, and like I'm not willing to get rid of it because, you know, it's fancy art supplies, but also I'm petrified of using it because it's fancy art supplies. And the little goblin at the back of my brain goes, fuck, I really want more art supplies, specifically Copics. I want Copics. I really want to get like a fuck ton of Copics, but they're also like fucking expensive. So like, I'm not allowed to spray. They're like on my like, if I ever get like so obnoxiously, like if I have like money coming out my armpits, I'll convert it into Copic markers. But like, that's a fantasy of the future in an alternate universe. Oh, you don't want to bring me shopping. I'm one of two things. I'm bored and eyes keep shining at all the pretty weird shit. Hi Ginger, how you do? Hope you're doing well. But yeah, honestly, art supply hoarder. Like, oh yeah. Oh my god, Kirsty. And you. Ooh, got you with a good luck. Ooh, you can do it. It's gonna come out looking awesome. I just know it because you're awesome. Oh my god. Oh, to the Pop Mart. Honestly, they've got some cool shit there. don't know if the Yogi Bats are still in, because it's like they kind of phase in and out. They have like a set once a year or something. And it's like the funny thing about Pop Mart is like 90% of the stuff, no, that's unfair. 80% of the stuff there is butt ugly. For my personal taste. This is my personal taste. Some people love it. A lot of people love and adore it. But my brain looks at a lot of those figures and goes, bleh. Nah. But like, I do like you know, the little Azura figures. I think they're cute. But like, I love the bats. The bats are like, I saw them and I like fell in love. And the funny thing is like, I'm not even like a bat guy. Like, it'd be one thing if I was someone who was just obsessed with bats. Like, it'd be one thing if I was a bat guy, you know, like, that would make sense, but I'm not. If anything, I'm like a cat/snake guy. But those bats just were like the exception. Thank you for the head pats, Wither, I appreciate it. But to be fair, they're really cute. Honestly, at this point, I'm going to be kicking my old My Hero figures out of the cabinet so I can fit more bats.
Hello there.
Hello there. Hi, Sorrel. How you doing? Oh my god. But yeah, it's like, I'm sure they'll bring out like another series sometime soon. Oh my god, Ghosty. Look, Asta, sacrifices have to be made. Alright, that's cute. And I have like a whole heap of my hero figures because like I was really into it when I was in the figure phase. Because it's like I've got the World Heroes movie Bakugo, Todoroki, and Deku figures. I'll admit I wouldn't get rid of those. They look sick as. I was like, I like to play those like Ichiban Kuro games for a bit because they were basically IRL gachas, and out of them I got a shitty Endeavor figure, and the worst part is it's like, it's a good figure, but it's also Endeavor, so it's shoved in the back of my display case. It's like, you're in there because you're technically a good figure, but also fuck you, Endeavor. You can be in the fart section. I've got a couple of Bakugos. I've got Hawks, some Todorokis. I've got a Derby one. It's like I've got a couple of Kiris. I've got a Kirishima, Otko. I've also got like a Miku figure that I got out of one of those machines. And I've got probably like the figure that's like I've also got like a shirtless Sasuke figure. It's not a horny figure. It's like it's based on like I think like Susanoo or something. But like yeah. And then I've also got like a metric fuck ton of bats. It's just, I do have some Genshin minifigures. I do have a little row of Genshin minifigures on the top, and like a couple of other like, you know, blind box figures. But like it has become like 30-40% bats in it. I want to get back into figure collecting. I like my favorite Vocaloid is Kaito. I've always wanted to get a Kaito figure, and so I really love Kaito. I think he's awesome. And like, I really love like Len and Rin as well. I love them as well. But yeah, Kaito's my favorite, unsurprisingly. So I've always wanted a Kaito figure. Yeah. Oh my god, Kirsty. Man, y'all so sweet. Y'all so sweet. Oh, as I love that. I mean, like, come on. Any figure counts. Yeah, Kaito's so silly. He's great. Ah, Kiri's great. Like, I've got a Kiri figure, and like, even though it's like technically one of those like, you know, $30 figures. Yes. They've got Q-Pos kits now, Nova. Ooh, because it's like I've got Todoroki, Bakugo, and Deku as Q-Pos kits. I love Q-Pos kits. I love them as male characters but I'm a bit hit and miss on them as female characters. It's kind of like with male characters, there's like a childish cuteness to them. But with the female characters, it starts swinging a little too close to the uncanny valley for me. Like, some look fantastic, some look absolutely fantastic, and others give me nightmares. I don't know, there's just like a fine line between, that's adorable, and oh dear god, that's a star in a horror game. Oh my god, Ghosty, I bet your pops fucking loved that though. It's like, honestly, my dream figures, so to speak, is, and like, these are my dream figures, so not a lick of even iota of obligation, because like, they're a pain to find and fucking expensive. I really wanted a VOD figure from the Untamed / Models sheet. I fucking love VOD. He's my favorite. I love Lanjan as well, don't get me wrong, they're both fantastic. But like, there was this one really fucking cool VOD figure that I really wanted, but I was POV and I couldn't get it. But he's like, it's a really sick figure. But yeah, like, I always wanted like a VOD figure. I always wanted, of course, AITA figure. I know, right? Aster is so cool. Hi, WaffleCat09. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, and welcome. But yeah, I've always wanted that. What else? I've always wanted a AITA figure. I've always wanted to get a good quality child figure, as in CHILDE, Tartaglia. But they're like hard to find. What else? Oh yeah, I don't know if they exist. I mean, I know you can get them in Nendos. I do love Nendroids. They're adorable. I've only got 2, but no, I've got 3. Sorry, I've only got 3. They're also my hero because that was, you know, what I was focused on at the time. But like, I always wanted to get the Darby Nendoroid, which is impossible to get. But I always love that one. I always wanted to just get the Vocaloid Nendroids because it's fucking cool. What else? I'm trying to think off the top of my head. It's been a while since I've like actually stopped and thought about it. Yes, I've always wanted to get figures of Sasaki and of Sasaki from Sasaki to Miyano. So I mean, I would be very happy with like both, because I mean OTP. But like, that show is one of the cutest fucking shows in existence. I melted and died and basically got like melted and decompressed so much I became the Damascus steel of Squee. That was a cute show. Thank you for the hydrate stream. Oh my god. honestly, Ghosty, you probably have. You probably have. Nom 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 nom. Thank you for the hydrate. But yeah. Honestly, like, I miss playing Ichiban Kuji. I really like that. And I think like the worst part is like when I got out of my hero, there's not a lot of Ichiban Kujis which like super appeal to me. I kind of hope one day they do like a Genshin Ichiban Kuji, which is like, but like has like cool figures in it. Because like I would be like so broke so fast. Like, take my money. Oh my god. Well, once a Gacha Goblin. Oh my god. Oh my god, Ghosty. Alrighty. Am I the arsehole for setting up a just-in-case fund for my daughter? My daughter has been married to her husband for 3 years, and they recently had their first child. The entire time they've been married, she's been a housewife, and now she's a stay-at-home mum with no plans to return to work. I think that's fine and have been supportive. I also know that she and her husband both have sizable life insurance policies, so if God forbid one dies, they'll be okay. However, she also signed a prenup, which again I think is smart, but according to my daughter, she'd get a very small settlement, and even with child support, there's a good chance she'd have to return to work. And after being out of the workforce for a bit, who knows if that'll be a challenge. My main worry is my niece fell into this scenario and even with child support she struggled. So my husband, her father and I set up a just in case account. If she and her husband divorce, she'll have the money to fall back on just in case. If they remain married past the time my husband and I die, it'll just be added to what she'll inherit. I didn't intend on telling her about it unless it happened, but my husband pointed out that if she ever was in a situation where she wanted to leave but worried she financially couldn't, it'd be good to know that she has a plan B. So we told her, and she was a little surprised. She said she appreciated it, but felt we were rooting against her. I said we love her husband, and I hope they have a long, healthy marriage. We've always been supported, but this is similar to a prenup. Just in case, a last resort. Well, she told her husband, and he's pissed at us as well, saying that we don't trust him. I said it's looking out for our daughter, and really it's no different from the prenup. I added that just as he'll always want to protect his daughter, we'll always want to protect ours. Am I the arsehole? No! What? This is making a mountain out of a molehill. Oh my god, this is so petty. This is yeah, I agree. It's pretty much the same as it's pretty much the exact same as a prenup, except like it's from an external party. Like literally, it's just like, oh yeah, like this isn't like break up so we can give you money. This is like if worst case scenario happens, she's got a backup, and if not, she gets a nicer inheritance. Either way, and like that's it. So it's like, why are you mad about it? Why are you mad? Regardless, at some point in time, it's free money. What the fuck? Oh shit, no, but oh, that's awesome. Oh my god. Yeah, Jesus Christ, no. Like, mountain out of a mole on this one. Absolutely not the arsehole. That's so petty. That is so petty. Oh my god. Okay. This next one has been tagged as a little crass. But let's give it a shot. It doesn't look like it's like porno, it just looks a little crass. Oh, thank you so much for the sub, Simply Spirit. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And welcome. How are you? So, warning in advance. This one's called Am I the Arsehole for Not Warning My Wife About My Arse Rag? Oh no. Okay, this is gonna be a clusterfuck. Let's go. Welcome home, Shara. Okay, context. My wife is weird about butt stuff. And I'm not talking about smexy butt stuff. That's obviously personal and up to the individual. I mean her unwillingness to acknowledge that anything comes out of butts, or that people even have buttholes. When we bought our house, I wanted to install a bidet, but my wife was against it. I told her she doesn't have to use it, but she said just seeing it would gross her out. I mentioned not feeling clean from just wiping with paper, and she didn't understand. Not everyone has naturally hairless arseholes that barely require wiping. She asked if I could find an alternative. I said I could use wet wipes, but they're not flushable. None of them are, by the way, so they'd have to go in the trash. She didn't like the idea of poopy things in the trash can, and told me to figure something else out that she didn't have to know about. So, onto my arse rag. I took an old towel, tore it up, and installed a discreet hook behind the toilet to hang the rag. It's completely hidden. The way our bathroom is set up, we only have one, the sink is right next to the toilet. So I am able to wet the rag, clean it up, wash it in the sink, and hang it back up. I swap it out a couple times a week. Gross? Maybe. but I figured that's my business since my wife didn't want to hear about my butthole cleaning habits. Recently, my wife and I were showering together and she forgot to bring a washcloth for herself. I don't use one. I use a sisal pouch with a bar stove. I offered to hop out and grab her a washcloth, but she said, "No, don't worry about it. I'll just use yours," and reached for my arse rag. I said, "Oh, you don't use that." She asked why. I said, "Oh, just trust me." She kept pushing, so I came clean about my arse rag. She was horrified, started dry heaving, and kicked me out of the shower. Apparently she's been using it as a washcloth for years whenever she forgot hers, which is often. What I don't get is how she thought that it was my washcloth because A, it's hidden behind the frickin' toilet, and B, she knows I don't use a washcloth. We got into an argument. From my perspective, it's obvious that my arse rag wasn't a washcloth. All bets are off when you use someone else's shit without asking, and her butthole hang-up is interfering with my personal hygiene. From her perspective, I violated a clear boundary she set years ago, and I'm just an overall gross person. I did apologise, but I was upset and my apology wasn't really sincere. I'm sleeping on the couch right now to try and give her some space. I'd like to know if I owe her a more sincere apology over this arse rag fiasco. I'm really not sure, and her reaction has me thinking that maybe I actually am disgusting and I'm lacking the perspective to see it. But I also don't think her butthole aversion is normal, and it's the main reason I ended up resorting to the arse rag solution in the first place and not telling her about it. Am I the arsehole? I'm sorry, I can't. What the fuck? What the fuck? This whole scenario is a mess. Bro. This is literally the... I think you should have just let him put it in the bidet. Like... I mean, at the end of the day... like, honestly, Nova, I hope so. Like... some people have weird phobias, weird aversions, fair enough. Did it never occur to her, not once, that a ratty old part of a towel hidden behind a toilet might be something you should ask about first before wiping it on your face? There would have been so many clues. Like, he changes it several times a week, which means it's never the same arse rag. Did not even like the repeated changes. Just, I'm on his side. Like, at the end of the day, she's the one that absolutely refused to compromise on something where, like, he was like, you know, this is unhygienic, I need a hygiene thing. And it's not fair that he has to suffer hygienically because the sight of a bidet makes her a little bit squicky. Because the bidet isn't poopy, it just squirts water. That's the point. So it's like, to be perfectly honest, the petty part of my soul says, well... moral of the story, you know, ask first. That's ask first. Yeah. I don't. Not the arsehole. At the end of the day, he did his absolute best to compromise with her, and I do think it is incredibly unfair for her to claim this is a boundary cross. Because, to be completely honest, by essentially refusing to give him any like leeway in, you know, in his hygiene, she was the one crossing the boundary here. She was the one using his stuff without permission. She was the one who was actively hindering his hygiene, like his, you know, his hygienic routine, for a silly reason at the end of the day. Because it's like, I can understand no flushable wipes, not having poopy things in the trash can. I can understand that. That is completely fair. But like, refusing the installation of a bidet, refusing any other solutions he put forward just because anything to do with butts makes her uncomfortable is on her. And at the end of the day, he never said she could use it. He didn't even put it in an obvious place. He did everything he could to keep it out of sight, out of mind, and she was the idiot who was using the secret washcloth behind the toilet basin to wipe her face. And ultimately, this is kind of a case of, like, ask first. Just ask first. But, like, it's not fair for her to claim this as boundary crossing. It's not. It is just an unfortunate situation. And ultimately, it had an easy solution she wasn't really willing to adhere to, and shit hit the fan. Oh, what the fuck. Man, people are great. People are awful, but people are great. Oh, good God. What the fuck? Like, I don't know what I expected when the post was tagged not safe for work, but that wasn't it. Oh my God. Oh, I just got no words. Holy shit, oh my God. But yes, so on to the next one, which I don't think any will be as weird as that one, honestly. That one wins. That one absolutely wins. Alrighty, so this next one is: am I the arsehole for refusing to make my niece a doll like her sisters? Hi Moonstar, how are you? Welcome. Hope you're doing well. I, 26 female, have no kids, but my older brother has 2 daughters. Oldest is now 7, youngest just turned 5. I love both of them a lot, but I'm not blind. As someone who grew up with siblings, it's very clear that the oldest daughter is the golden child. She gets what she wants, no matter how expensive, and is always showered with praise for her pageants and singing. My younger niece is very shy, but she's still very sweet and enjoys things like reading and animals. Recently, my younger niece has been feeling bad about herself. I asked her why, and she told me it was because she didn't like her hair color. She's got auburn curls. She was sad because everyone always says how pretty her older sister's hair was, which was a very light blonde and straight. It got so bad that she'd apparently tried to cut it off, which her mum had just laughed off as a childhood mishap. When I was over at my brother's house, I noticed that the two were playing with dolls. The older sister had a very nice Barbie doll, while the younger sister had what looked like a short, cheap Walmart knockoff. I asked why, and the mum said it was because she couldn't find a doll with red hair. This made me upset because 1, the doll's hair is bright red, which is not her hair color, and 2, it was extremely different quality. I said nothing, but when it was the younger niece's birthday, I acted. For months I researched doll making and restoring. I took a Barbie and replaced her hair with some that matched hers and painted the eyes. I then hand-sewed several custom outfits and gave each a blue whale theme, her favorite animal. As a cosplayer, this wasn't that hard. On her birthday, my younger niece was ecstatic, but her sister was obviously not. I didn't pay attention to her, instead focusing on making sure my younger niece liked her gifts. But only a few days later, her parents called me, telling me I needed to make the older sister one as well. I said I'd get her one on her next birthday. They said no, she needed it immediately because she'd been upset that her sister's doll was customized, unlike her store-bought ones, and was mad that the younger sister wouldn't share. I told them again that it was a project and that I'd make her one next year. They both accused me of not caring about the older sister's feelings, and I got mad, saying that neither of them cared about being fair when it was the younger sister was playing with a troll doll that was supposed to quote-unquote look like her. This gift was meant to make the younger sister feel special, and I wasn't going to cheapen it on the older sister because she was pouting. I hung up, but I started to wonder, am I the asshole? No! It's like, from the looks of it as well, like, yes, quote unquote, I took a Barbie and replaced her hair with some that matches her. Seems like they rerouted the hair. She rerouted the hair. So yeah, and it's like, the thing is as well, is it's like, yeah, basically the way you do it with dolls, because I've done some doll customization as well, I hope your dinner was really nice, is, yeah, you pluck out all the hair, you clean the head, and then you plug in, you literally use a little needle, and you stab all the hair threads back into the hair, and then boom. These parents are neglecting their kid in favour of the other kid. And at the end of the day, fact is, if the older sibling had been given a customized doll, those parents wouldn't have called up 2 days later demanding a custom doll for the younger sibling. They wouldn't. And that's sad. And honestly, I'm glad that I'm very glad that the OP is taking care of the younger sister, because at the very least, what this means is, like, that older sister's probably always going to have a parent. She's probably going to grow up entitled, unfortunately. She's getting a bit spoiled, but, like, she's always going to have her parents are always going to have her back, unless she does something absolutely ridiculous. And at least this means that if this pattern goes on, the younger sister will always have the need, like, always have her aunt. And I think that's a good thing as well. It allows that, like, younger sister to have that support network that they're clearly not getting at home. But also, why do people always bully the gingers? Shit's so not unfair. Honestly, this is gingerphobia. Fuck you. Oh, I'm being silly. Alrighty. Yeah, at least the younger sister has the aunt. Exactly. It probably wouldn't be viable for the 26-year-old aunt to adopt the younger sibling, but, like, very much have her just be a support network. Because at the end of the day, that'll mean the world to the kid. Alrighty. Am I the arsehole for telling my sister nobody needs to give her anything for Mother's Day? My 27 female sister, 25 female, had a miscarriage 6 or 7 months ago. It was very early. She had a positive pregnancy test, but then a couple of days later tested negative and had her period. My husband, 29 male, and I just had our first baby, who's now 3 weeks old. For Mother's Day, we all went to our parents' house to celebrate. My sister and I both brought our mum gifts, and my mum also got me flowers and chocolate to celebrate my first Mother's Day. I think it's also worth noting that I had an ectopic pregnancy that ended up rupturing 3 years ago, and we've been trying to have a baby ever since. I lost a fallopian tube and basically nearly died. I've had 2 other miscarriages since then as well. This is a very special first true Mother's Day. I was in the hospital recovering from the surgery for my ectopic pregnancy over Mother's Day 3 years ago, and my family brought me flowers and balloons to help me feel better about going through something so traumatic so close to Mother's Day. I think this is why my sister may have felt the way she did. My mum didn't get my sister anything for Mother's Day. As a result, my sister ended up throwing a fit and was yelling at us, calling us names, and I ended up yelling back that nobody owed her a Mother's Day gift because she's not a mother yet. My parents were understanding, but said I should have been less harsh. But I must ask regardless. Am I the arsehole here? No. Like, no. There's a huge difference between I had I had a miscarriage to the degree that essentially nearly killed me and had me in hospital and stole half of my ovaries, versus I weed on a pregnancy test and 3 days later I weed on it again and the result was the opposite. I mean, I don't know about you, but like, I'm not exactly on the sister's side. Like, miscarriages are understandably quite traumatic for many of the people who have them. Of course they are, and I'm not downplaying that at all. But like, there's a huge difference between, you know, being, you know, having someone. I'm obviously talking in hypotheticals and stuff, but like, there's a big difference between someone who's been pregnant for say 5-6 months and then has a miscarriage, and someone who wheezes on a stick, gets a positive result, and then 2 days later wheezes on a stick and gets a negative result. Yeah, that might technically be a miscarriage. Or a false positive. If you can't tell if it was a miscarriage or a false positive, you're not deep enough in the pregnancy for it to count. Like, just saying, like, I don't know, man, like, if that's all you've got, you haven't got anything. Oh my god. No. But yeah, like, yeah, no mercy on that one. Absolutely not the arsehole. It's very unfair of the sister to demand give me gifts too, when she did not have a history anywhere near as close to OP. So when she eventually does have kids, because it seems like she wants them, then yeah, she'll get her Mother's Day gifts then. Hi Devin, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Alrighty. Am I the asshole for not wanting to share a personal-sized pizza with 3 other people? This is my first time posting anything, and I'm on a mobile, so unsure if I'm doing it right. I, female 35, am gluten-free, celiac, and have been for over half my life. My husband, male 35, is not. We had 2 friends stopping by for dinner who were also not gluten-free. My husband suggested we get pizza and mentioned to me that one of the friends only eats chicken as far as meat goes, so I should factor that into my order. I said, well, that doesn't really affect me since I wasn't planning on sharing, but noted, I'll see what options they have for her. Husband freaks out at me. Basically, apparently I'm being ungrateful. He asked why I didn't want to share, and I said the gluten-free pizzas are basically personal pizzas, and I regularly eat the whole thing when we order it. I'm supposed to offer half of mine to other people when I can't eat what they're eating? He wouldn't hear me at all and said I didn't want to share. If I didn't want to share, I could pay for my own pizza myself. I don't really care about paying it for it for myself, but the idea that I'm supposed to give away some of my dinner when I can't eat what other people are eating is stupid to me. It's not like we're ordering every pizza gluten-free, it just doesn't make sense. They eat my food, I can't eat their food. I can understand the principle of offering, but one gluten-free pizza from this place is only enough for one person. If we're getting multiple gluten-free ones, I'd absolutely share, but they got 2 larges for the 3 of them. He continued to go on and on about how ungrateful I was being and said some other stupid stuff before I told him to fuck off and went upstairs. I ended up just going upstairs and not eating or seeing them at all. I came downstairs later and he had ordered me a gluten-free pizza and said from across the room, "Are you ready for your grateful-free pizza? You need to have a better attitude about things that aren't yours in the future." I didn't reply or eat the pizza. I was already heating something else up and hadn't noticed the pizza, but I will eat it later because I'm pregnant and starving all the time. Just for the record, this happened before several years ago when we ordered pizza and only one gluten-free for me, and it arrived and everyone thought mine looked super good. I don't order regular pepperoni tomato sauce. So the 4 other people, husband included, took over half my pizza before I even got a bite. Pissed me off because then I didn't have enough food and they still had plenty plus pieces of mine. Perhaps this is a sore subject for me. Again, I'm also pregnant, though this would still bother me if I weren't. Am I the asshole and just being ungrateful? No. Absolutely not ungrateful. Like, celiac means you fucking die if you eat too much gluten. That's the fatal gluten intolerance. She literally cannot eat gluten stuff or it makes her seriously ill. Like, leave her alone. It is really unfair to expect her to give up her food, but she literally cannot have anything from anyone else. Yeah, like, what the fuck? Like, it's really unfair and really entitled of this shitty husband of hers, honestly. Like, yes, there are people who do choose to be gluten-free as a preference, but don't actually need to be. In those people's cases, I mean, the argument is a little fairer, because it's like, it's not that they can't share, it's they don't want to. Is it still fair? No, but it is a little bit fractionally fairer. There are also people who have gluten intolerance, but they don't have celiac disease. And so they can eat gluten stuff and not die, but like, they'll still feel ill. So of course, it wouldn't be fair either. But like, she's got celiac disease. That's the fatal one. Like, she literally cannot eat gluten stuff or she gets seriously ill. Like, of course she should have a pizza to herself. She can't eat when anyone else is eating. And essentially all they're doing is stealing her food. Like, that's not a quid pro quo. Like, the reason having like 3 pizzas in front of a group of 4 or 5 is great is because everyone nicks pizzas from all the pizzas. But if there's one person who can only have 1 pizza, leave them alone. Let them have that pizza until they're done. Like, let her be the only one who has that pizza until she's done, she's full, and if there is any left after she's full, then it goes into the pot, the pizza pile. But until then, you're just being a dick for taking it. Either that, or the husband can stop being a cheap ass, and he can get the large version of the gluten-free pizza if he really wants everyone to have some. Because that was the catch as well. She was getting a personal size. They're usually like 9 inches. Like, they're not that big. Whereas everyone else was getting larges, which are like 12 to 13 inches. They're like, you know, a good 50% bigger. So, you know, like, gluten-free stuff is expensive. You usually got to pay like an extra $5 odd because, you know, gluten-free is hard to make. So, like, if he really wanted some of that gluten-free goodness, maybe stop being such a cheap bitch and actually pay for it then. Like, if you've got the gal to tell her to buy her own pizza because she won't share, then maybe you should stop being cheap and buy the large version of the pizza, and then she can share and she'll have enough for herself. But the man's head's up his arse, so of course he's not going to come up with that one. Exactly, Deb. Yeah. And it's like, and another thing is she's pregnant. And so, like, she's eaten for 2. If only she could dump him, but marriage is a lot harder to kick out of. Oh my god. But yeah. Definitely feel a bit bad for her, though. And also, it's so petty, too. Like, if they really wanted her pizza, they really wanted it, they could just order the not gluten-free version of the same pizza. That's an option too. They could just get their own version that's not gluten-free and as such is, you know, cheaper. There are solutions here. There are options here. You have choices. Why are you fighting? You got options. Oh my god. Alrighty. Am I the arsehole for telling my sister-in-law that she's an idiot for expecting her family to be as generous with gifts for her marriage as they were for mine? When I married my husband, we had a smallish wedding. 150 guests. Trust me, that's small for our families. We paid for everything ourselves. Altogether, we spent about $25,000. It was in our budget and we'd saved up for it. And that included everything. My dress, the wedding party's dresses, and tux rentals, catering, you name it, we paid and came in under budget. Our guests were family and close friends, the way it should be, and they were generous with gifts, both from our registry and cash in envelopes. When everything was said and done, our house was filled with great stuff we needed, and our savings were several $1,000s over where we started before we paid for the wedding. My husband's sister just eloped in February, and nobody found out about it until early April when she sent out links to her wedding registry. Not too many people have bought anything off it yet, and she's getting upset about that. All she talks about whenever we speak is how cheap everyone is. Every conversation leads back to the same topic. After more than a month of this, I've had enough. I asked her if she understood why we got gifts when I married her brother. Like, at our physical wedding that took place at a church and then a reception at a rented ballroom. She said I was treating her like an idiot and that she understood the difference between our weddings. I asked her why she would expect this exact same treatment for two very different events. I said that only an idiot would think that the outcome would be the same in both situations. Well, now she's mad at me. My husband said he was also frustrated with her stupidity, but that I should apologize for calling her an idiot. Am I the asshole? No. Not the asshole, honestly. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, like, that's on her. Like, it'd be one thing if they both held, like, weddings. If they both held wedding events, and one was, like, unfairly favored over the other. But this is the difference between a couple who went out of their way to have a decent wedding event, and a couple that eloped and didn't tell anyone about it for 2 months, and people found out about it when they sent a link around asking for free shit. Most people find that kind of insulting. I'll be honest. If I had a sister-in-law who did that, I wouldn't get anything off it. Because I know I would be like, fuck you. Like, it's literally the message it sends is, I don't care about you enough to even tell you I've gotten married, but I still want your money. Like, most people aren't that generous. Because, like, generally people, like, you know, they want people, like, gifting is a two-person exchange. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, even the most altruistic gifts, it is for both people. The person who gives the gift feels good, and the person who gets the gift feels good. Everyone's happy. That's why gift giving is such a brilliant thing. Because at the end of the day, like, when things work out well and it's all happy and consensual and really on every side, it's something every side benefits on. The gift giver gets the satisfaction of giving a gift, they get to see the happy reactions, they get to know they helped out, you feel fantastic, and everyone loves it. The one who receives the gift, you feel special, you feel cared for. If the gift is something that is tailored towards you as well, you feel like, you know, you see the language beside it, you understand, you see them understand you, you see their perspective, and you have a treasured thing to perfect from all time. Totally understand, Devin? Mwah. So it's like, it is a mutual exchange. Both parties benefit from gift giving, which is why people love it so much. But the thing is, that's the key thing. Most people, in fact, all people don't really like giving gifts if it's demanded of them. Like, there's a huge difference between, come to our wedding, here's a registry, you know, we'd appreciate it if you can, but come. It's like, there's a big difference between, I got you a gift, and you're like, oh my god, thank you, and get me a gift. One of them you're gonna go, get fucked. Get yourself a gift. Like, it's... Yeah, of course people weren't getting anything off it. Most people, like, absolutely looked at it and went like, no, send the dick a twist. Exactly, Ghosty, exactly. Like, I love receiving gifts. Because it's like, for me, it shows me, like, it's like, money is something we work hard for. So, like, when you get a gift for someone, you were essentially going, like, you know, I've, like, the worth of the gift, I've, like, you know, that times however many hours I've worked for it, I've, like, I worked my job, and the reward I got from my job, I specifically am giving it to you in the form that I think you would like. And I think that's really, I love the act of gift giving. And, like, I love giving gifts as well. And of course, it's all the wonderful anxieties involved in it, because you're like, oh god, what if they don't like it, da da da. But, like, that's the charm of it. But the last thing you should ever do is be entitled. No one is entitled to a gift. It's a gift. It's not a transaction. And gifts are best when they're just given on whim, given just because you want to give them. No other reason. Whether it's like in a gift-giving war, whether it's in a Secret Santa exchange, whether it's just because, fuck it, today I'm gonna make you feel special, because, like, fuck you, feel good, yeah, from the top of the hill. Like, it doesn't matter why. It could be something small, like getting someone lunch, or something big, like getting someone a car. I was trying to think of something big. Regardless, it's a wonderful thing when, like, it's, you know, it's genuine. And people who are entitled to gifts just make me feel squeaky. So it's like, no. If you want a transaction so bad, go to the shops. Alrighty. On to the next post. Night Night Nova! Am I the arsehole? And also, welcome back to Sorrow. Am I the arsehole? I told my because I told my parents they birthed a disabled child, so they just have to live with it. I, 22 female, have been diagnosed with ADHD, autism, dyslexia, dyspraxia, low muscle issues, anxiety, and I'm slightly blind. I got diagnosed from the age of 2 to 7 with everything. Due to all of my diagnoses, I'm unable to drive anywhere. I can still bus places and take Ubers, but being driven somewhere is sometimes the best option for me. Multiple doctors have told my parents I'd be unable to drive due to being slightly blind and my anxiety. As I'm unable to hold a full-time job, I don't have heaps of money coming in, so Ubers are usually a last resort. Yesterday, I asked my dad if he could pick me up as the bus I was supposed to take never came. When he went to pick me up, he made a few comments saying it would be a lot easier if I could drive, and how I should just learn to drive anyways, despite the fact that doctors don't want me to, as he hates having to pick me up all the time. I replied that it's just what happens when you have a disabled child, and it's something you have to put up with. He took massive offense to that and told Mum, who thought I was being incredibly rude. He picks me up once or twice a week at most. So I must ask, am I the arsehole for being rude to my dad? Hi Toruke, how are you? Welcome, welcome. I don't think they were being rude. Maybe I'm being biased, but, like, no. I don't think they're, like, this is blunt, definitely. Blunt, definitely. At best, like, the biggest stretch I can think of, maybe tone deaf if you look at it from a normie perspective, but I'm stretching. But, like, this isn't rude, it's a casual response. And the thing is, as well, is, let's be honest, he was being rude first. Like, when you start just complaining out of nowhere to someone who didn't invite event, you're being rude. That's rude. So it is ironically incredibly rude to say that OP is being rude and being blunt after basically going out of their way to make OP, to try and guilt trip OP into driving. Let's be honest, that's what it is. He was trying to guilt trip OP even to drive into learning how to drive, despite the fact they have been medically advised not to. Like, bitch, you wouldn't put someone who's like got a physical disability that stops them being able to drive from behind the wheel. Like, say like someone's got Parkinson's, I think that's the one where you shake a lot. And like severe Parkinson's, like the type where the doctors go like, you can't drive. Would you put them behind, would you go to them? Would you go to someone with that and go, oh, you should just learn to drive anyway? Oh no, I know that's what the doctor said, but like, you know, I hate having to pick you up all the time, so just learn to drive. Bro, drive into a wall. It's very likely it's the same thing with OP here. Like, if you know, the thing is as well, they have sight issues. Nobody wants a blind person behind the wheel of a car. They can be the most amazing person in the universe, but the only thing that happens when a blind man drives is an accident. Because he can't see you coming. Like, she's got vision issues, which is like, usually that's enough. That's enough for like, you know, roads and doctors and stuff to all turn around and go, no, take Ubers. Which is fair. But the thing is as well, it's like, if her anxiety is bad enough that the medical professionals are going, do not go on the road, this means like she's probably extremely prone to things like panic attacks, very jittery, fidgety. These kinds of things are bad behind a wheel of a car. Say you have a habit of tapping your feet a lot when you're really nervous. Now imagine those feet are on your accelerator. It's pretty easy to imagine, like, how many terrible situations. There's a reason she's been told by her doctor not to drive. She knows, like, she literally straight up is agreeing with her doctor. She shouldn't drive. Like, this dad is being a selfish idiot by being like, drive anyway, because he's being lazy. Like, I'm sorry, if he really doesn't want to pick her up, maybe he should just forward her the 10-15 bucks to take the Uber instead. Maybe he should do that. If he really doesn't want to pick her up, there's nothing stopping him from funding the Uber. Like, you don't have to go, you know. You could just pay for the Uber. Everyone wins. But man's got little bitch disease, so unfortunately, it's terminal. I'm sorry, I'm being catty. I would very much advise you don't do that, Toru, because even if it works out for you in the short term, it'll end up bad eventually. It's quite dangerous. It's like those people who, like, speed around all the time. Yeah, 99% of the time, people who speed are fine. That's true. 99% of the time, when people are speeding, they are fine. They start fine, they come off fine. The difference is that 1% die. Like, I laugh, but it's more of like a kind of laugh. Like, that's not fun odds. Like, it just takes one little slip up for your eyes to be closed at an important turn or an important moment. Like, and the thing is, and it's like, thing is, well, Toru, you could be skilled enough. Your skill could be perfect. If your eyes are closed, you could drive perfectly. You don't control every other car on the road, though. You can be the best driver in the universe. But if there is a drunk donkey speeding at you from in front and you haven't seen them coming, that's on them. Like, the amount of accidents that happen, not because of the initial driver, but because of someone else colliding into them, is very high. It's that whole case of, like, your skill can be perfect, but that's not the case for everyone on the road. And this is just general. Like, not every driver is good. In fact, a lot of them are shit. And it's that case of like, we don't want you to get hurt. That's the end of the day. And it's more, I don't doubt that you're an incredibly skilled driver. I am sure you are. And perhaps on a private road that you're very familiar with, you wouldn't get hurt. But there are a lot of donkeys on the road. And they bucking. One could say my faith is not... It's not that I have no faith in you. It's I have no faith in everyone else. Because I've seen some right fucking idiots on the road. I don't drive, but I have seen some right fucking idiots on the road. Dear God, I live near a highway. I see them daily. Oh my God, like, it just takes one idiot. One idiot. And the thing is as well, like, you can be doing everything perfectly. And this is generally for everyone. And just one idiot on the road. And perhaps one day, I will learn to drive proper. I have done some lessons. It's just expensive. And one day, I will go down that route. But ironically, I'm thinking of going down like a motorcycle route. Because I feel like it'll be easier to dodge donkeys. And also, my uncle thinks motorbikes are cool, and if I get a motorbike, I'll be cool. And then you guys will have to admit I'm cool because I have a motorbike. What do you mean, no? What do you mean, nuh-uh? Thank you, Toru. You've got good taste. See? Motorbikes are hot. I can be the hottest ginge on the block. Vespa? Vespa? Can't you see me on a sexy sports bike being like, hey baby, you wanna ride? Do I give Vespa energy? Oh yeah, like every vehicle on the road is dangerous, absolutely. Oh man, y'all crushing my Kawasaki Ninja dreams. Honestly though, when I think of Vespas, all I can think about is that one time I went overseas when I was 14 to visit my dad who was living in Taiwan at the time because he was working overseas. And in Taiwan, Vespas are everywhere. Pretty much everyone and their dog has a Vespa. And I mean that literally. As in, like, it was, like, surreal seeing, like, families of, like, 4 and 5 all crammed onto a singular Vespa. Like, I definitely saw at one point, because I had to stop and just compute. There was, like, a group of, like, 4 people and a dog all on a Vespa. And they just, like, sped on by, just nyum. And, like, I just remember going, that's a family and a dog. Like, there was a mum, a dad, and like 2 kids, and a dog up the front. And I'm like, how'd they fit the dog? Like it was a little dog. But like, it was still a dog. Whereas like here, like you see 2 people on a Vespa and you're like, oh, spicy. Oh my God. And yeah, and that's like normal over there. So like, culture, am I right? Scooter vibes. Ah, man. Y'all saying I'm lame. Tricycle? Ah, no faith. Come on, I can be cool. I can be cool. Oh my God. You're always so kind to me. Alrighty. Am I the asshole for bringing a generic product versus the name brand I was asked to bring? This seems so silly to me, but it became such a big deal that I have to ask. Last weekend, my girlfriend's family hosted a barbecue. I was always raised to never show up anywhere empty-handed, so I asked my girlfriend's mum what I could bring. She asked that I grab the Cool Whip for a dessert she was making. Easy enough. I figured it wouldn't be hard to find, so I decided to wait till the morning of to grab it on my way there. Well, I get to the store about 20 minutes before the barbecue, and they're somehow out of the name brand. They did, however, have the store's brand whipped topping. As I didn't have time to go to another grocery store, I just bought the generic brand and headed off. Upon arrival, I handed the bag to my girlfriend's mum. She opens it, looks aside, and gets a weird look on her face. She asks where the Cool Whip is. I said the store was out, and that was pretty much the same thing, right? She looks a little irritated with me, but just tells me to make myself at home. As I'm putting my stuff down, I hear her asking her husband to run to the store and grab the Cool Whip. I can't hear the entire conversation, but he must have asked, didn't I bring it? Because then I hear her say, I asked for one thing and he couldn't even deliver. Nothing else was said directly to me, but there are a few passive-aggressive remarks throughout the barbecue, such as when her husband arrived, name brand in hand, calling him her hero. When the dessert was served, she again made a comment about it made with real Cool Whip. I didn't want to make a scene, so I took it on the chin. When talking to my girlfriend about it later, she said that her mum was overdramatic, but I should have called her to ask if generic was okay. Or I could have gone to a different store. I asked if there really was a difference, and she said she doesn't know, but it was what I was asked to bring, so I should have communicated better. Again, this all sounds so stupid, but am I the arsehole? Oh shit, Goss, you can ride a motorbike? Damn, that's cool. Yeah, like, this is definitely one of those situations where he kind of had his laziness bite him in the arse. He should have gone the day before and checked. Going 20 minutes before basically guaranteed if something went wrong, he was doomed. He was being lazy, kind of blew up in his face. With that being said, this mum is not even remotely innocent. It would be very different if he showed up with nothing, but he did show up with, you know, whipped topping. He just didn't show up with the brand she wanted. And she's the one who spent the rest of the day being an absolute cow about it. Like, there is a way, of course, of being, you know, not a dick. Like, you know, perhaps opening up and it's like, oh, where's the Cool Whip? And it's like, yeah, store's out, sorry. It's pretty much the same thing. Like, you know, I'm not very familiar. It's like, it sounds like just in the way he's phrasing things, he probably came off as a bit haughty. Like, you know, a bit like, oh, same shit, right? Like, a bit dismissive, which, yeah, understandably, bit of a cad, but, like, at the end of the day, like, it didn't deserve all of this passive-aggressive shit. Like, essentially, at the end of the day, he should have communicated. I do agree with the girlfriend. He should have, like, at least talked to the girlfriend or talked to her or something and explain the situation. But he didn't. And that's on him. But honestly, the mum should have just, you know, gone like, oh, you know, I get the Cool Whip for a reason. Thanked him for his effort. And then just asked the husband to go and get the Cool Whip. And end it there. Like, don't continue with this petty shit for the rest of the day. Like, end it there. Because ultimately, if she ended it there, yeah, OP would look like the arsehole. But because she kept going on with all of this petty shit the rest of the time, even though he went out of the way to get her something from the store when he didn't have to do it, he was doing it as a favor. This wasn't a deal, it was a favor. Then in that case, she's the arsehole. However, I kind of want to say everyone sucks here, because he's not faultless either. Like, if he went the day before, he would have known they were out, or he would have been able to get it when it was still in stock, and he would have been able to prepare accordingly. But he was lazy, 20 minutes late, he didn't bother to communicate whatsoever, he kind of just grabbed name brand, acted very dismissive about it. It was like, oh yeah, same shit, right? And it's like, no, not same shit, because it's that whole case of like, to someone who doesn't cook, I mean, you know, I'm not exactly talking from a first person perspective, I'm not exactly a chef, but like, I've known a few people who do, you know, they like to bake and they like to cook. And like for people who like to bake and they like to cook, just like, you know, me with my art supplies and anyone else in their particular field, to someone who likes to bake and cook, name brands do, or specific brands matter because they all taste a little bit different. It's just like, if you came up to, it's like, the difference between me and someone who doesn't draw is someone who doesn't draw, if you hand them a Prismacolor or a Faber-Castell Aquarelle, a Derwent Inktense, and a Crayola pencil, they'll be like, woo, blue, and they'll be happy. Doesn't matter which one you give them. However, me, having, you know, being an artist myself, and being quite familiar with these mediums, I would use them all for very different purposes. Like Faber-Castell Aquarelles, they are kind of like a softer, water-soluble pencil. I will use them if I want that pencil-y watercolor feel that's kind of on the softer side of things. Derwent Inktense, they are water-soluble as well, however they are far more pigmented than the Faber-Castell Aquarelles, which I mostly use for things like, you know, doll customizing and things like that. So I'd use the Derwent Inktense for things where I wanted more bolder, poppier colors. Whereas the Prismacolors, they are not water soluble at all, but they are fucking banging pencils. So if I just wanted to do a pencil drawing, and I didn't want any watercolory looks whatsoever, I'd go for them. And say, so it's like, depending on what I was doing, if someone gave me a Prismacolor and I was trying to do a watercolor piece with pencil bits, I'd be like, what the fuck am I going to do with this? Like, but they'll be like, you want a blue pencil? Which is understandable, and like, that's just the artist version of this. So like, someone who is used to baking sweets and stuff, there is a difference between the cheap flour and flour brand A, flour brand B. There's a difference between chocolate brand A and chocolate brand B. There's a difference between whipped cream brand A and whipped cream brand B. And you can taste the difference, and they usually, like, they have specific things because their like recipes go a certain way, because if they change something, it'll taste different. And just like how I would be like, bruh, if you gave me the wrong tool, if I'm, you know, if you were helping me out, see, like, you know, hypothetically while I'm drawing, she's well within her right to go, bruh, if you give her the wrong material, and act very dismissive. Like, yes, to him, they're all the same. It's all whipped cream. He sees generic whipped cream, and he sees Cool whipped cream. One's just more expensive in his books. That's all he knows. Chances are you put them both on the spoon. At best, he might be able to tell you they taste a bit different, but he wouldn't be able to tell you why. But it's very likely you put them both on a spoon and be like, what's that taste like? Fucking whipped cream. Just like someone who doesn't draw. Oh, what's that? It's blue. Like, whereas like you ask an artist and you're like, oh, that's an indigo, that's like a tealy aquamarine, that's this, like that. And it's just all about, you know, expertise and personal feel. And at the end of the day, he should have asked. And it's clear that this was important to her. But that's no excuse to be a petty cow. Because it's like, regardless, she should have also kept in mind he is not a baker. And just like how someone who doesn't draw would see 4 different blue pencils in a line and go, nice, I've got 4 blue pencils. She should have recognized that he's not a baker. He would look at 4 different whipped creams in a line and go, nice, I've got 4 whipped creams. And that would be the end of the thought process. Because we all do that when we're not an expert in something. And like, I think I remember seeing, and thank you for the follow, Haruka Sakura 188, I really appreciate it, thank you. And it's like, it really reminds me of like, there was this meme going around, and it's in the artist branch again. And like, it was one of those like, oh shit, like brain blow memes, where essentially it was like, from an artist's perspective, and it was like a picture of an artist like with 2 cakes. And one was like a shitty cake, and one was like a really fancy cake. And essentially, the artist was putting down their lower quality cake, and looking at the really fancy cake and going, oh, my cake's not as good as that cake. And the next panel was the person going to eat it, and that person was going, fuck yeah, 2 cakes! And that's basically it. Like, you're not the consumer, and like, just because, yeah, I mean, like, the colour scheme's great as well. But like, yeah, and it's that whole case of, that kind of works across the board. Like, those of us, we all have something that is our field. We all have something that is our focus. Like, and like, it doesn't have to be like production class or anything like this. Like, gaming is a field. Like, we all have something that we have skilled up enough in that we know the difference. Like, someone who is, let's go with games. I'm not a gamer. So it's like, if you put 5 games in front of me and went like, alright, what's a good example? City Skylines versus SimCity. I've never played either of these games. It's not really a genre I've ever touched. I mean, I will admit, I am kind of curious about City Skylines because I've heard good things, but, like, these aren't games I've played. I know they're both city building simulators. That's it. So if you put them both in front of me, and you put them both in front of someone who actually knew what the fuck they were doing, I'd go, cool! 2 city building simulators. Nice! Whereas that person would likely go, oh, I prefer this game because it has this, this, and that. Whereas that other game fails to have this, this, and that, but it has this, this, and that. And they would have a clear preference. It's kind of like, I really like manhwa, and lately I've been kind of on a villainess manhwa kick. So like, you know, those stories where it's basically, you know, I was reincarnated as villainess, or I regressed as villainess, but basically classic underdog stops being seen as an underdog stories. And like, I've read so many now, I can tell the minute differences between them. So there's the whole, like, the regressor, like, the villainess regressor versus the isekai into the villainess. Or, like, a common thing is there's the regressor villainess, so the one who lived out her life and then went back in time and chose to fix her mistakes, versus I popped into the body of the villainess. You put those 2 stories in front of them. I went back in, like, I was a villainess, but I went back in time and now I changed my future. I was reborn in the body of a villainess and I changed my future. Someone who doesn't read these stories go, isn't that the same thing? And if you look at them, not being familiar with the genre, they'll look like the same thing. Tall, dark, and handsome prince, very pretty lead female, probably blonde, and noble intrigue plot. You would look at them and go, yeah, that's 2 slices of chocolate cake right there. That's the same shit. Fuck you, 2 cakes. But if you're deep in the genre, you recognize the differences, you recognize the small intricacies, you'd recognize that it is very likely, but not always the case, it's very likely the isekai into the body of the villainess and now I must fix my future plot isn't gonna have anything to do with villainesses at the end of it. Because most of the time, the common trope is that person isekais into the body of the villainess before she does anything that's actually, like, reprehensible. So she just ends up being a classic heroine that, like, is slightly hated. Whereas with the regress villainess, usually has to go through, like, a deep character arc into learning to overcome her flaws. And so she's still herself. She's still got a shitty personality. And you've got other ones, such as, I reincarnated in the body of the villainess, and everyone else is a fucktard, so I've decided to commit to being a villainess, fuck all these people, I'm out. I've read a story of someone who remembered the memories of a past life where they read a novel that they're currently living in, so, you know, reincarnated as a villainess as a child, and she's like, sweet, I'm not going to be a villainess, I'm going to save my future, I'm going to save my brothers, and then they get locked in a tower for 2 years, and she comes out going, fuck all y'all, I'm going to fuck your asses up. So basically, she goes in knowing that something's going to happen to turn her into a villainess, literally going, I'm not going to become a villain, I'm going to stay a good guy, and then she has trauma, and she's like, nah, I get it now, fuck all y'all. And I live for that shit. It actually really is. I think it's called A Villain's Fairy Tale. Alright, let me Google it. A Villain's Fairy Tale. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Let's see. Alright. Or a fairy tale for villains. I think that's it. Alright, let's see. Yeah, it's A Fairy Tale for Villains. That's what it's called. So it is an actual honest-to-God manhwa. And, like, I'll be honest, I read it recently and I got completely sucked into it. And it was really, like, you're on our side. You're like, damn, fuck them up. They are all shit. Yeah, then there's Lloyd. Lloyd's amazing. Like, I mean, Lloyd is literally... Trady gets reincarnated into another world, realizes they don't have any modern things and goes, fuck it, I'm gonna use my modern knowledge to get rich quick. And also his face is the best thing on the planet. But like, you know, these isekai genres, etc. Like it's like, and this is media. You know, games. There are a lot of people who couldn't tell you the difference between Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail. A lot of people look at it and go, that's the same shit, but in space. No, it's not the same shit. If you play both games for a couple of hours, you'll realize it's not the same shit. Or perhaps a better comparison is some people may confuse just that whole genre in general. It's easy to confuse two different dress-up games with each other, and you know, two different styles of story. Like people who don't read fanfics would look at like the Clance tag on AO3 and go, why the hell is there like 10,000 stories of the same shit? Because when you read them, it's not the same shit. And yeah, and it just goes on and on and on and on. And it's all about perspective. And at the end of the day, there is something that we are all... Oh, nice. That's 4 blue pencils about. And there is something that we're all like, I'll have you know, each of these pencils is different. And it all just depends on expertise. And I think that's what's happened here. And to bring it all back, because the tirade had a point. And that's what's happened in this post, where neither of them clicked that that's the miscommunication. She expected him to have her knowledge of baking. He expected her to have the lack of preference of someone who did not have that knowledge. And even though neither of them would ever acknowledge that's what's happening, yeah, exactly. Another example would be PvP versus PvE. There are probably a shit ton of people out there who confuse RuneScape and World of Warcraft. And anyone who's ever played either of those games probably going, how the fuck do you confuse RuneScape with World of Warcraft? They could not be any more different. I'll tell that to someone who doesn't play MMOs. Oh, same shit. You're in a fantasy world. You fight enemies. You fight players. You trade. It's online. Teenage boys, about 10 years ago, fucking ate that shit for breakfast. But you look at the games and they're like, bro, that is not the same shit. That is cats and dogs. Exactly. Oh, that was a hell of a tirade. Look, people are awesome and I love passion. Anyway, thank you for the hydrate and the posture check. I appreciate it. Thank you. And the stretch. Oh my god. Yeah, itchy nose. Alright, arms in front, up over the head. Yeah. Thank you. Also, if you're thirsty, have a drink. If you're hungry, get something to eat. And if you haven't taken your meds and you're due, pop a pill. Get comfy. Am I the asshole for leaving dinner because my sister was late again? I, 27 female, had plans to go out to dinner with my sister, 30 female, as we do every month. She lives in my hometown and I live in the next state over with my boyfriend. We're about 35 minutes to an hour apart, depending on traffic. We agreed to meet close to my hometown with my mum. One thing about her, she's always late. I expect she'll always be at least 30 minutes late, but it's been up to a few hours. And not just random plans, weddings and graduations too. It's been brought up in the past by my mum and I, but she always brushes it off and gets upset. My boyfriend drove me over. I can't drive and he offered to drop me before he had to head out for plans for his own near home and come back when he was done. I assumed after dinner we'd just hang out at her house either way. Get to the place and start calling my sister. She usually doesn't say if she's going to be late, but if my mum is with her, she does, and I hadn't heard anything. I get mum a few minutes later and she says they're behind because it took a while to get my nephew, who's almost ready, and my sister got in the shower later than expected. I didn't even know my nephew was coming, and she usually tells me if he is. Her husband was apparently there to let mum in when she showed up, but went back to sleep as soon as she got there. Not sure why he couldn't help get the baby ready, but that's none of my business. I check maps and it says 35 minutes. Heading in, getting baby strapped and secure, then putting him in either the stroller or front carrying the bait on her body, I was looking at 40 minutes. To top it off, we had reservations. She made the reservation, not me. I had never been to this place, and I didn't know if this was one of those places that you don't let you have the table if your whole group isn't there. There was really no space to wait inside, and I'd have to stand outside. Anyway, I didn't feel like sitting alone for 40 minutes, even if I could. She doesn't keep her friends waiting this long when they make plans. I don't get why it's okay to do this to me and Mum. I'm speaking to Mum as they're trying to change the reservation online, and at this point, I was fed up. If we agree to be there at a certain time, be there. 5 or 10 minutes late is fine, but not this. I told Mum I was going back home. I didn't feel like fuming at the table and acting like I wasn't mad when they got there, as I'd done before. She sounded hurt and mad, but said fine and that she'd go home too. Since I haven't spoke to my sister, it's been a few weeks, and Mum doesn't want to get to the middle, but I told her I wasn't speaking to her unless I get an apology. Mum told her she can't keep doing this on their ride back home, and agrees it's an issue but won't say much else. It's ridiculous to just always be late because you're bad at time management. She also wants to use the it takes long to get a baby ready excuse, which I'd accept if it wasn't for the fact that this has been a problem long before my nephew was even born, or even a thought. So, am I the arsehole? No. No, absolutely not. Not at all. She's never learned once. This is a pattern. She will never change. This will always be the case. Honestly, if I was like, it is like standard practice. Like, it counts as being stood up on a date if you're there 15 minutes past the time you were meant to meet and no one's rocked up. That's being stood up on a date. Some people will wait 20 or 25 minutes if they're feeling hopeful, but by the half an hour mark, 99.9% of people are gone. And like, to rock up a few hours late, it's like, it's ridiculous. So it's like, Jesus Christ. And the shop, like, yeah, legit goes, and that is 1000% fair. Because at the end of the day, like, you're stuck waiting. They don't tell you that they're going to be late. It's ridiculous, is what it is. And it's like, it's just really unfair. Like, at the end of the day, at least a 40-minute wait. All because they couldn't manage their time properly. That's on them. Yeah, if there's a detour, call. There's an issue, call. But like, she's already at this venue. Like, if she got in the shower late, was struggling with the baby, hadn't even left the house, and the reservation was starting now, let's be perfectly honest, she would have known that she was going to be late half an hour before this point. Because it takes half an hour to get there. And if you weren't leaving half an hour before the reservation, you know you're running late. The fact she didn't call and explain she was running late then, and basically waited until she was confronted after OP already showed up at the restaurant, that's on her. Absolutely not the arsehole. If anything, OP is well within her right to basically call a strike and absolutely refuse to talk to her until she gets an apology and hopefully a future change in behaviour. At the end of the day, her time is precious as well. All of our time is precious. Like, when when anyone meets up to do something, we're not just doing it because we like standing around. Like, you know, we're going out of our way. Like, we're sacrificing time out of our day. We could be doing other things. And we're specifically dedicating it to that other person because we want to spend time with them. It is, you know, it's a brilliant thing. But the thing is, if you stand someone up, you've just wasted a large chunk of their time that they could have been doing literally anything else. And this isn't including the time waiting outside the restaurant or wherever you're meeting. It's the travel time in, the travel time out, the time they spend preparing, the potential money they spent on the travel and preparing. Like, you're wasting a lot of their effort and time just to be selfish. And at the end of the day, like, making someone wait several hours because you're lazy is on you. And like, that's what alarms are for. I'm not amazing with time management. In fact, I've got a serious case of time blindness. I struggle really hard with time and dates. You know how I get by it? I basically have a smartwatch glued to my list and a fuck ton of alarms on my phone. If I ever have to go somewhere, I have a shit ton of alarms blaring off to make sure I get off my ass and go. And like, yeah, there are times I completely forget that I have appointments, that I have these things because it slipped my radar. But like, if time management is your problem, there are tools to help you combat it. And like, I sincerely doubt this is a case of time blindness. I think this is a case of bad time management. Because like, time blindness, yeah, is essentially like you can't feel the shift of time, which is what I've got. And it's, you know, it's a plus and a negative. For me, relationships don't really deteriorate because I don't really accurately gauge the sense of time. So it can be like a year since I've seen a person, and it will only feel like a month or a couple of weeks because time just blurs for me. And also, I constantly lose track of days and dates and stuff. But like, you know, I have a job and like I have streams and stuff. So like, I set alarms. I have 5 alarms to wake me up so I don't sleep in. I have, you know, strict routines I follow because I know if I drop the routine, like, my ass is gonna float off to space. Like, and it's like, you know, like the reason I keep myself to such a strict stream schedule is like when I had like before I had a stream schedule, but back I was willy-nilly, like I was out of control. Like I'm saying, like you could not predict when the stream would start. I think the only reliable thing is like like back in the beginning before I had a stream schedule and back when, you know, COVID was a thing. I say that like it is still a thing, but you know, back when like COVID lockdowns were and stuff, I shit you not, the only reliable thing was I was going to stream at some point during that day. What point that was? Guess you're going to find out. Like, I'm saying, like, one day I'd start at midday, one day I'd start at 6 p.m, one day I'd start at midnight, one day I'd start at 3 a.m. Like, it's just whenever the fuck my brain was like, it's stream time, because my brain just doesn't click with time properly. And literally, it's just like my stream schedules will whip my ass in straight and teach me, like, you know, no. So it's like I have a routine, like I come home from work, alright, I've got about like an hour and a half before the rerun. That's usually when I like flop for a bit. And then, alright, 7:30, put up the rerun. That's when I actually start getting into it. The timer helps as well, because I can see it. So like, I'm watching the timer and it keeps me on track. And like, I have all these little aids and stuff. So it's like, she could get alarms. She should, honestly. She should be setting alarms. She should have these aids around if she struggles so much with time management. But like, this just comes off more like she's just lazy. She just puts stuff off until well beyond the last minute, and then, oh no, I guess I'll get around to it. And at that point, like, that's on you. That's a personal choice not to do something. And being late is fine on occasion. But if you're late every single time to a severe degree, you're the problem. Oh my god. But yeah, absolutely. Not the arsehole. Not the arsehole. Oh yeah, Ghosty. Yeah. Ah, so like so it's like you've got like a strict body clock. So it's like kind of like your body's like 6 a.m. wakey, eggs and bakey, and you're like, why? And it's like, honestly, it sounds like my coworker. My coworker's the same. Like the reason that my coworker and I split our shifts the way we do, is because we're basically got opposing body clocks. And by that, I struggle to get to sleep. Like I've got insomnia, and so I struggle to get to sleep. And unless I'm like dead exhausted, thank you for the flower crap, I am very likely just going to be laying in bed with my eyes open wide, staring at the ceiling and questioning existence. So like, oh my god, Kirsty. I've heard sleep paralysis is a nightmare, you poor soul. Oh my god. And sleep apnea. Oh shit. I feel for you, dear friend. But yeah, so it's like, yeah, and we know many of us have our own sleep issues, and so it's like, I get up later because I struggle to crash. But When I do crash, I'm out. My coworker is the opposite. Her body clock's like just permanently set to 4 a.m. in the morning. And she's... No, she always gets up at 4 a.m. in the morning. Her body's just like, nah, where you eat, boom, up we get. So, we've split the shifts in a way where I take most of the night shifts and she takes most of the... Well, I say night shifts. I take most of the evening shifts. She takes most of the morning shifts. And in the middle of the week, we swap so she can sleep in and I get to leave her. And it's like, I remember when I first started at my job, my boss was like, you know, he's a lovely chap, and he was just, you know, like, he gave us like a basic schedule at first, and he was like, you know, I don't mind, you know, who does what shifts, so long as they're done, that's all that matters. So, you know, you guys, you know, talk with yourselves. If you need me to help you out and sort things out for you, it's all good. Just let me know when you've decided. And like, because he thought we were gonna have like a discussion, like dividing stuff, like, you know, a kid's like parent time, like some shit. And it's like, he left, and like me and my coworker, like, I was just like, I remember the conversation because it was like so anticlimactic. Because like, I think like we were both kind of expecting to have to fight for our right. And so like, I was just like, so it's like Monday, it's like, oh, you know, I prefer the late shift on Monday because I like to sleep in a bit. And she was like, oh, that's good because I prefer the morning shift on Monday because I like to leave first. And I was like, oh yeah. And, you know, I'm fine with the late shift on Tuesday. You know, I prefer late shifts early in the week. And she's like, oh, that's good. I prefer morning shifts early in the week. And I was like, oh, you know, I want at least one morning shift. So, you know, middle of the week's good. And she's like, oh, that's good. I can sleep in. And at this point, everything's going too smooth. And it's like, oh, yeah. And I'm cool with late shifts the rest. I usually prefer late shifts. And she's like, oh, that's easy. Yeah, I actually prefer morning shifts. I like getting to leave. And I was like, well, boss, we're done. Easiest divvy ever, and we only ever swap it around if it's like, you know, something comes up. Oh, you're 31! Happy birthday! How you doing, Akahara? Yep, you've officially, like, fully stepped into the 30s. Because it's like, when you're 30, like, you're 30, but, like, it doesn't feel like you've crossed the line. It's like when you're 20, like, you turn 20, but let's be honest, your heart's still in 19. But the minute you're 21, you're in your 20s. I say this as if it's not coming for me. I see this bitch and it can stay there. It's like, nuh-uh, no, freeze time. I'm 29 forever. For all the happy birthday. Some in the mouth. Look at them read. Oh my god, I hope your birthday went fantastically though. It's nothing but a pack of bones. Said with love, of course. Oh my god, Haya, he's so nice. Granny gets everyone in the end. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Oh my god. Yeah, alright. On to the next one. Am I the arsehole for being upset because my wealthy best friend wouldn't let me borrow $5? My best friend and I have been friends for nearly 7 years. When we first met, she was struggling financially and lived paycheck to paycheck. At one point, her car broke down and she had no transportation or work, so I'd let her borrow my car and never asked her for gas money or anything in return. At the time, I was financially secure and happy to help her out. As the years went by, my financial situation changed, and just like her, I began living paycheck to paycheck. By this time, she'd started dating a guy she met online who revealed to her a few months into dating that he was a millionaire. They married shortly after, and suffice to say, she's not had to struggle since. There have been a few times I've asked to borrow money, which I've always paid back. It's usually not much, like less than $25 each time, and she would always oblige with no problems, until recently. The last couple times I asked to borrow money, she said she didn't have it, which I found odd. But then I asked to borrow $5, and she said the same thing, and I thought it was odd that she didn't have $5 to spare. I know that ever since she got married, her brothers and a couple of friends have been trying to take advantage of her newfound wealth by asking to borrow money they never paid back and having them bail her out, having her bail them out of situations they put themselves in that have cost her a lot of money. I started to think that maybe I'd forgotten to pay her back money I owed her at some point, and I reached out to her to ask if that was the case. When she told me that wasn't the case, as in I'd always paid her back, I told her I felt hurt because it felt like if I needed her help with something, I use the example if I end up in jail, that I couldn't reach out to her for help because she couldn't even let me borrow $5. She replied and said that's just like her brothers. I needed to learn how to budget my money better and that she can't be the one to bail everyone out. She said that when she was struggling, she had to work multiple jobs and did what she had to do. I replied and said it was not fair for her to lump me in with her brothers as I've never done anything to take advantage of her. And I never would have said something like that to her when I let her borrow my car and any time she'd asked me to borrow money when she was struggling. I told her I loved her, but that I was ending the conversation, and she replied that this was why money and friends should never be mixed. Since then, she's reached out and said, I didn't deserve that conversation last night, I hope you know that. To which I've not replied and I have no plans to. I am deeply hurt that she feels I was in the wrong, but I do not think I was the arsehole here. I understand I am not entitled to anyone's money, borrowed or not, but when she was in my shoes, I did everything I could to help her out. I could understand if I had asked to borrow a large amount of money, but I literally just asked for $5. Am I the arsehole? Oh. No, I don't think so, no. Like, this is sticky purely because at the end of the day, she is the one asking, but also, like, this makes it very apparent one cares more about one than the other. And yeah, like, it's tricky because, like, but I suppose, like, the main thing as well is, like, she's upset because she was turned down, but it wasn't so much that she was turned down for not being given $5. It was more the lack of empathy. And, like, yeah, honestly, TK, yeah, nail on the head. I absolutely would feel used if that was the case. Like, it's, yeah, thank you for the headpats. Like, at the end of the day, it shows that the friend took everything that OP did for granted. And now, when the situation is reversed, well, yeah, pretty much yeah, nail on the head. It's like, you can understand to a degree the friend's perspective, because it's like, if, you know, a lot of people in wealthy positions, I mean, I don't really know the perspective, but, like, I've known some people in it, and I suppose I can just speculate. But a lot of people in wealthy positions, it's quite common for them to, let's be honest, be surrounded by vultures. If someone comes into a lot of money, a lot of long-lost friends and family almost always pop out the fucking woodwork. That's just normal, unfortunately. And it does seem like her brothers have been really taking advantage of her. I can understand her not wanting to lend money to anyone, because that would be deeply scarring, because essentially she's being used as a wallet by what sounds like people who probably barely helped, if anything, her when she actually needed it. However, it is unfair of her to lump OP in with them. And it's like, the only context we don't really have is the frequency that OP asks to borrow money. Because that could play a role. Because it's like, OP says a few times, obviously, unfortunately, can't take everything any OP says for granted, they're always a singular perspective. But, like, if it's, say, they're asking for $25 a week, then I can understand being pressured and feeling like a bank card. But if it's always paid back, then like, and it is confirmed it's always paid back, what is the issue? But it's like, it's more, if she's not willing to lend her friend $5 when she needs it, yeah, honestly, yeah, in that case, OP would be well within their right to turn around and go, in that case, I want you to repay me all the gas money you used, like, so long ago. Because it's like, when I was in a good spot and you're in a bad spot, you use like hundreds of dollars of gas money that I didn't charge you for because, you know, you needed it and I didn't want to put you in a worse spot. Now you're in a good spot and I'm in a bad spot. I need that gas money now. And at this point, if this friend is willing to ruin this friendship over $5, what has OP got to lose? But at the end of the day, this just seems like two stressed, hurt people lashing out in different ways. So OP is definitely not the arsehole. And I can understand, I don't think her friend's so much the arsehole, but I do think her friend's definitely being stingy. But at the end of the day, it's her money, she can do what she wants with it. But I think, like, the thing that stands out about the friend, to me, is more, she doesn't have any empathy for her friend in the tough situation. And I think that's where she falls short. Not lending her the money, not a crime. But lying, saying that she doesn't have it when she's, you know, quite wealthy, and essentially being very dismissive and kind of talking down to her friend, that's where she becomes the dick. It's not so much what she did, it's how she did it. Yeah. Exactly, Hi, yeah. And it's like, at the end of the day, it's very likely a case if she's gotten so used to being used that, like, being asked money has become almost like a trigger for her. And it's understandable if, like, everyone around you uses you for money over and over again. They seem to only come to you when you want money. You start to assume that everyone who comes to you for money is using you. It becomes like a, you know, you start conflating the two when they're not actually connected. And so you can understand why she gets this perspective, but it doesn't make it correct. It just makes it understandable. I can understand why some nutters do what they do. It doesn't mean it's okay. But yeah, honestly, they really need to properly communicate. This friend really needs to explain exactly why she sees things the way they are. And OP really needs to explain why she feels entitled in the way she does. Because if they don't, it'll never communicate. Alright. Now, before I go on to the next one, I need to be right back for a moment because I need to pop over to the bathroom. So I will see you guys in a minute.
Hi cute cats, meow meow meow.
I return. Oh my god. I need to eat more rice and sandwiches. I mean, rice is nice. And tell her I said thank you at any point. Feel free to pass on the message. Tell her I said thank you very much. And I mean, you don't have to tell her this bit, but I'd like to hope my English is good. It is the only language I am fluent in. Because it's like, until I can hold a conversation in Japanese, and that is a long way away, I ain't gonna say I'm bilingual. I dabble. Oh my god. Yeah. Welcome back to the land of the living, dear sorrow. Oh my god. Nom 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 nom. Ah, love is a good Goss night. Honestly, Am I the Arsehole? It's very fun to actually like read. Thank you. It's very pale. What can I say? I'm authentic. Oh, Arca. Oh, that is a mood. That is a mood. It's like, I swear, like, I don't know if this is relatable to anyone, but like, whenever I try and learn another language, like, I can get it in my short-term memory, but actually transferring it to the long-term memory is like trying to dig a hole with a spoon. Like, I ain't getting out of no jails with a spoon. Like, like, oh my god. Like, I have been trying to learn Japanese for years, and like, now I can kind of decipher tweets. Like, that's all I've gotten out of it. Like, most kanji over my head, but I can kind of decipher tweets now, and it's like, wow. Yep, there's the spoon again. Oh my god. Oh yep, you're a jack of all phrase trades. A jack of all phrases. Yep. Getting out of jails with a fork. Perfect. Perfect. It's like eating soup with a fork. You technically can. Technically. You can do a lot of things. But it's not exactly effective. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god, you actually know that many languages? That is so cool. Holy shit, Ghosty. Oh, that is brilliant. That is brilliant. That. It's like, I know, obviously, English. I know some token sentences in French, because I did it in high school. I know you've told me, like, you know a few languages, but, like, I couldn't remember, like, which ones. Like, I know you spoke Bahasa, but, like, I definitely didn't know about Spanish and Norwegian. Oh, that is, honestly, you're an absolute linguist. I think that's really cool. It's like, I know, like, you know, linguist theory is kind of like, once you lock in one language, you can kind of start to branch out into, like, the similar ones. And I do know a large part of the learning curve of learning Japanese is the fact the alphabet is alien. And, like, not in, like, a, oh, alien. No. More in a, I am used to a very fucking different alphabet. In fact, that's just it. I'm used to a 26-letter alphabet. Not a 2,500 character kanji set. And it's like, I think I know probably about like 50-odd kanji. Like, it's like, I think like I can recognize about 50-odd kanji. Which, you know, isn't too bad. And I can read kana. I think there's like a couple I get stuck on. Like, in katakana, whoever the fuck designed s and shi and so and fuck you. Fuck you in particular. Or more accurately, whoever designed the font versions of s and shi and so and fuck you. I am deciphering pixels here. The amount of times that, like, I will read a word and, like, I have to, like, read it out and then look at the context to guess which one it is and which one makes more sense. And since it's katakana, like, most of the time it's like an English-based word, but not all the time. But, like, luckily a lot of Japanese loan words are English. So I've got a leg up there. If I couldn't speak English, I would be capital F fucked. One can argue that, like, I'm cheating, but yes. And it's like, for example, pantsu and panchi look nearly identical in katakana, with the exception, because basically in, you know, calligraphy, there's a clear difference in slope and stroke order. In computer font, its pixels go get fucked, and so I'm like, it's like, ah, boku no pantsu wa kawaii desu ne. Boku wa panchi wa kawaii desu ne. Well, that is a pair of pants. Probably tsu. Like, that's basically how I read, how I try and decipher Japanese posts. And like that's literally what I do. I just sound out both versions in my head, like, that one sounds like bullshit. I'm going with the other. it's like salt and has the same problem. So it just would be like say like it's like a combini. That's how that one's put out. But it's spelled in katakana because it's short for, you know, convenience. Combini. Kosobini don't got the same ring to it. And when it's attached to a 7-Eleven, it's probably an My deductive reasoning skills tell me it's probably an but like, yeah. So it's like, there are definitely a couple of characters like my brain just like cries a bit when I try and read. And you know what? I'm sure that like people from like alternate alphabets, you know, Japanese, Chinese, Thai, Korean, Russian, like people with alternate alphabets, I'm sure they feel exactly the same when they see how we write L and capital I. So it's fair across the board. Oh, nice to meet you, Lan. It's Ian. What? That's an I. Why does it look like an L? Because fuck you, that's why. Oh my god, Ghosty. Yeah, Arabic is gorgeous, but oh, I would have a chance in hell learning it proper. Oh my god. Like, I know, like, in the world of, like, language, yeah, like, I really want to get Japanese down, just so I can read it out of stubbornness. And, like, if I ever manage to get it down, I'm sure I will at some point, but, like, if I ever get it down, the next language I'd be interested in is probably Korean, just because, like, I do, like, either Korean or, like, Chinese, mostly just because, like, ironically, in day-to-day life, Chinese, like, you know, Cantonese, Mandarin, probably more Mandarin than Cantonese, would ironically be quite kind of useful, because, like, there are like a lot of like Chinese pockets around Australia. Like, there are a lot of towns which, you know, like, have majorly Chinese population, so there's, you know, a lot of Chinese signage and stuff around, and like, there's, you know, there's quite a large, like, you know, specifically, you know, there's other Asian populations, but there's a large Chinese population in Australia. So ironically, that would be actually pretty useful here. And if I learn kanji, I have a chance. Oh my god. Honestly, one day, deep in the bucket list, I wouldn't mind learning sign language. I mean, just Aussie sign language, because it's different everywhere. I do wish there was, like, a universal sign language. That would be so cool if there was a universal one, but, like any language, every country gotta be special. It's like, come on, man. That would be perfect. But you can understand why there isn't a universal sign language. Because everybody wants it to be theirs. And no one wants the American one. No, I'm kidding. Here he is. Ooh. French or German. Ooh. It's like, I remember I tried to learn a bit of German at one point. I did enjoy it, actually. Like, German is really cool. I stand by. I will always love the word Schmetterling, because it means butterfly, and it's the most metal fucking way to say butterfly. Just like I do love the German word, anti-baby-pillen. That's birth control pills. I would like one anti-baby pill, please. Oh, German is boss ass. Brilliant language, but like I couldn't. The German accent is one that evades me. I am really fucking bad at a German accent. So it's like, yeah, it was one of those languages where it's just like, oh, like no matter what I do, I'm absolutely going to come off sounding like a bogan in what is it? A bogan in Berlin. Du bist ein Berliner. Oh my god. Oh yep, Flammenwurf. Yep. Schadenfreude. Good old the joy from people in pain. Or more accurately, it is the joy you receive from other people's misfortune. So basically, it is when you laugh when some random dude just like eats pavement because they tripped, or like slips on a banana peel. It's a new Alice in Paris. I'm a bogan in Berlin. I think it was Emily, actually. I heard that show was shit. Didn't actually watch it, though, so absolutely, like, paraphrasing a video I watched, but yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god, sorry. I have to admit, a part of me is kind of tempted to do like a study stream and kind of like actually do some Japanese practice. I'm kind of tempted. How dare you bolt me? Because it's like lately, like on my mind, I've been trying to think like, oh man, it's like, because it's like I've noticed I'm falling into routines again, and I'm like, oh shit, like I want to come up with like cool new shit, but like my brain has been empty since the start of the year. I swear, 2024 is like the year of like no thoughts, only actions, and my actions are like, oh my god. But yeah, so it was like, I'm kind of tempted to try it out, really. Because if anything, having one night a week learning Japanese is probably a good thing, because I'll actually fucking learn it then. Oh my god. So yeah, it's like, I know one thing I want to do, though I've got to get a camera, is I kind of want to try doing like streams where I do like IRL craft, but I need a camera, unfortunately. Oh, but that would be so fucking cool. Sled together and cry for the cringe. Fuck yes. Studying. I mean, honestly, having some Japanese under your belt if you're going to Japan would probably be a good idea. But yeah, it's like, if it helps, some words, good words to keep in mind. Migi is right, Hidari is left. That way you can ask for directions. It's like, Migi, to, Hidari ka. Go Migi. That doesn't help, I'm dyslexic. Well, then you're fucked. Look, if you want to know where the bathroom is, it's toilet wa doko desu ka? Where is the toilet? I mean, like, there is a better word for it, I think, but I can't remember the actually polite way to say bathroom. And honestly, like, anything's better than just going, hey, where's toilet? Doko. Honestly, even I still struggle with left and right, I swear. Like, I do that thing with my hands where you just like, you know, like left, right, left, right, left, right. And it's like the ironic, like that hilarious worst part is like with left and right. Ever since I started rigging, in rigging it's opposite. And like literally like the reason when like I'm drawing a model, I have R and L on the screen is mostly because it's like left and right's one of those things that my brain just like keeps mixing up for no reason. And like I know left and right, I need processing time sometimes. Now throw in the fact that I now have to make it opposite. That's why I put R and L on the models. Because it's like, that way I know what side to put it on, because it's basically like, you got to do the process, alright, left, alright, left is that way, like, so left is that way, right is that way, but it's live 2D, so right is that way, left is that way, and guides, come back. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's like, it's funny. It's like, I'm the kind of person where if I've been somewhere once, I can find it. I'm very good with memorizing parts. Like, I know directions physically. I'm very good at memorizing directions physically. So I'm not the type of person who gets lost. Once I know where something is, I basically know where it is forever. But my brain gets confused with left and right the words. Which means, if you ask me to take you somewhere I've been before, I'll get you there without a problem. If you ask me to direct you to somewhere I've been before, I'm sorry for any trouble I may cause you from this point onwards. Because it'll be like, all right, so you go down that street and then you turn that. No, it's you go that way. Right. Yep. You turn right and then you go down there and then on the first street to the left, you go up and you just be there like, what the fuck are you going on about, dude? And be like, it'd be easier if I show you. So it's like, I don't get lost. My feet are very good at remembering where to go. But my brain's not very good at translating that into useful words to pass on to other people. It's like at work, we're split into 2 buildings and we commonly have to send people to the other building. And like, I have genuinely like gotten it down to an art because I've got the map. We have a map in front of me and I'm always like, the minute someone's like, oh, I need to go to building B, I'm like, oh yeah.
I constantly had to draw L and R signs on my hands because I'm stupid. BUTIDEADASSFORGOR. What an L look like BRI.
Oh my god. And like, literally like, yeah, and it's like, literally, it's just like, I see something that's like, I go to the map and I get my little pointer, which is the letter opener, and I'm like, you're here, you want to go here, and they're like, go down there, and then take this turn, look for this landmark, and then go upstairs. And it's literally the only reason I can translate it properly is because landmarks, because like, I talk in landmarks, because I know where they are, so it's like, oh yeah, go down this street, look for the big sad man, and then go, and then head in the direction of the big tree, and then go down there, and then look for the giant handkerchief, and then like go down the road with the trams on it, and like it's all like, you know, like landmarks won't fail me. Nonsense, Sorrel. It doesn't mean you're stupid. Some brains just don't process it the same way others do. Oh my god, Mythius, I love that. Oh my god. Gotta love directions. Got to love directions. Oh. But yes. Alrighty. I think I will share one last story, and then I think it will be a good place to call it for tonight, because it's about 11:30 p.m. And then tomorrow's Friday. Alrighty. Am I the asshole for telling a family they weren't actually invited? So, My son had his 10th birthday party at a jump palace on Saturday. He wanted to invite 5 friends. We sent the invites early enough, all went well. Until a few days before the party, he said his friend wanted to invite a girl. This girl is not very nice to my son, so I told him no. Let your friend know I said that wasn't going to work, so it wouldn't look like my son was at fault. Lo and behold, the day of the party, the girl shows up with her dad and her 3 siblings. The dad let me know he didn't get the info till the day prior, and all that was written on the ripped paper was the place and time. I asked the girl who invited her, and she told me the friend of my son. I let the dad know that they were welcome to hang with the party and have cake and pizza, but they'd have to pay for their entrance fee as they weren't actually invited. He got his kids and left pretty fast. A few people think I was in the wrong, but that would have been an extra $100 I didn't plan for. So, was I the asshole? Edit. It was a scratch piece of paper he showed me, like ripped from a notebook. The friend who invited her is in a separate class from my son this year. There was no gift or card, and the dad never seemed upset. The invite had each child's name on them, asked for an adult to come to watch said kid, my number, and let them know I would cover the child in the invite plus the adult. Not the asshole! Not the asshole! Oh my god. Yeah, no. Absolutely not the arsehole on this one. Ultimately, the one at fault is, like, the friend of the son. Like, this definitely, like, this is one of those ones I kind of want to say, like, no one sucks here in this particular scenario. Because it's like, the dad didn't show up with the girl to be contrary. They weren't trying to barge in. They genuinely, like, he genuinely seemed to think he was invited, that his daughter was invited. So if anything, it all depends. Like, the one thing that was never explained here was, did the girl actually find out before she came that she wasn't actually invited? Because it's like, there's so many variables. Like all that the OP knows is she told her son to let the girl know she wasn't invited. So did the son tell the friend? If the son only told the friend and not the girl, then it was the friend who the friend could have not passed it on because the friend wanted her to come. So then the fault would be on the friend, not the girl. But if the son told the girl directly and she still showed up, the fault was on the girl because she basically ignored it, faked an invite, and rocked up. But ultimately, this is definitely one of those situations where, like, it's just kind of just an embarrassing situation, and I kind of almost feel a little bit bad for the dad of the girl, even if she didn't really get along with the son. Because poor man got swindled. Because, like, regardless of whether she knew or not, he basically got swindled by his kid into an embarrassing situation. Like, he rocked up, you know, fully believing that she was invited to the party, only to find out at the event that they weren't. And it wasn't, and the thing is as well, it wasn't like she turned him away either. Like, she was like, she basically was like, oh, like, you know, you're welcome, you know, to, I mean, since you're here, you're welcome, you know, hang out at the party, have some cake, have some pizza, but I just can't afford the entrance fee because you weren't actually invited. You know, like, it didn't, like, I'm not sensing any maliciousness or anything. It was just a case of, like, they were uninvited guests, but it wasn't like they were like, no, you can't come here, or you're not going to be part of the party, piss off. It was just, I mean, you're welcome to join us, but, like, unfortunately, because you weren't actually invited, I wasn't able to budget for it. So this just seems like one of those, like, ugh. And, like, ultimately, like, it seems like the dad pissed off because he was like, oh shit, I don't have the money to pay for him to get in there, bye. And also, he's probably embarrassed. That is an embarrassing situation to be in. So, like, ultimately, yeah, and, like, she outright says the dad never seemed upset, so it's like, ultimately, I kind of want to say no one sucks here. Because it's like, they weren't invited, so it was wrong of them to show up. But the dad showed up genuinely believing he was invited. it was his daughter that gave him a fake invite. But she's probably also like 9. So it's more like either the son's friend or the girl is the one at fault. But it seems like the dad showed up, like according to this, the dad showed up genuinely believing they were invited. And he was like, you know, oh yeah, I only received, oh, it's like, oh, I didn't get like the info till the day prior. And it's like all he had was a ripped piece of paper with the place and time. And it's like, considering it's a 10-year-old's birthday, a disorganized 10-year-old could give out the details like that. So it's kind of like, even though the dad's obviously the adult in this situation, it seems like it was exactly, Goss. Yeah, just a horrific miscommunication. Like, the worst case possible. Because, like, the worst part is, you can't even blame him for not calling ahead. Because, like, for one, he didn't have the mum's number to start. So he couldn't have even if he wanted to. But for another, like, when your kid comes up to you and goes, oh, I got invited to go to a party tomorrow, and gives you the details, you don't doubt your kid. Like, you don't go like, oh, you sure? Because then you come off as, then you're a dick. So, like, you're just like, oh, cool, okay, well, we'll go then. And, yeah, so it's like this, no way this could have been prevented, except for him not receiving the fake invite in the first place. So, yeah, this is just a really horrific miscommunication. And it's just an awkward situation. And, like, I'm sure that when that girl got home, she probably got in trouble for it. And, I mean, understandably. But yeah, that's just like, ugh, that's awkward. It's like one of those awkward, like, shit. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, one really bad fake invite. Oh, yeah, Goss, yeah. Because it's like, when you genuinely believe you're invited somewhere and you find out at the event you're not, like, if someone tells you that, like, especially if it's paid events, like, you know, a paid venue and stuff, most of the time it's not malicious. It's not like a, like, ugh, get out of here, peasant. It's more of a, like, oh, I'm really sorry, you're not like you weren't actually invited. Like, I don't mean this in a bad way. It's more like we can only afford so many people, and it's like you just feel like you just want to like poof out exist. You're just like, yep, time to decompose. Like, time to disintegrate. Yep, poof, I'm out. Like, time to fade from existence. Oh my god, oh my god. Yes. Nothing quite like ending the AITA stream on some good old-fashioned cringe. This is old-fashioned cringe. This is like IRL cringe, self-cringe. It's like, what's your name? You can call me Crumplestiltskin, because I want to disappear now. Oh my god. Alrighty. Let's see. Social anxiety go. Honestly, that kind of stuff like generates social anxiety. Am I right? Alrighty. Alright. Perfect. I found someone to raid. Alrighty. But yes, now that we've done that, thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I've had a brilliant time hanging out with each and every single one of you. It's been really fun. I always love these AITA streams. It's just really fun to just hang out and chat. Yeah, so my next stream will be tomorrow night. I will be streaming art. So we'll be finishing up, hopefully, Shara's commission. At the very least, we're working on Shara's commission tomorrow night. So woohoo, it's art time. So yes, that being said, let me set up the raid. Yeah, and... Alright, the raid has been set up. Alright, let's pop over the stream. And yes! Tomorrow it's shark time. But yes, now the raid is set up once more. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I appreciate every single one of you amazing people. And thanks for making my life awesome. Yes, I'm gonna go catch me some shower and snee. I hope you all have a wonderful rest when you do pass out. And finally, raiding in 3,